It looks like we are live now. Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday to you, and welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo community. This is an actual place where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are encouraged to join these live events, just like today, real world events as well. And we encourage you to share and inspire to create better art and tattoos together every day. So you are currently watching the Tattoo Collecting Podcast with special guest Forrest G, not Forrest G on Instagram. On-demand reruns can also be found in our library, where we have all sorts of different stuff available. You can be looking tons of different rabbit holes if you get started. We have all of the reruns as well as different videos as well, fully in our library. Today, you can enter to win a goodie bag as well. We'll announce a winner through email. If you'd like, we have raw pigments and Cheyenne tattoo equipment to give away. So that'll be pretty cool. We've been having goodie bag winners every single week, and it's awesome to get free stuff in the mail. Also, we have some pretty cool upcoming pro development and on-demand things that we have. If you are a Bob Tyrell fan, he's got 11 hours of educational content available to you guys. And Bob is a beast. If anybody has ever watched his work, which I assume all of you have, check out some of his courses at courses.reinventingthetattoo.com. Also, I want to highlight one of our featured members who I like quite a bit. We have the tattoo journalist. If you guys can see here, she just recently interviewed Carrie Barba, and you can find that in Skin and Ink magazine. So we wanted to tattoo her. She's got a lot of really cool posts and interesting content on her page too. Beyond that, we've got some very awesome weekly events happening every single Sunday with Jason Lesser at 1 p.m. Eastern as a Reinventing Drawing group. All skill levels are welcome, as well as Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern with Jake Meeks of the Fireside Tattoo Network, which is an affiliate of ours here at Reinventing. Beyond that, we want to highlight our sponsors because, like I said, this is a free community thanks to them. We have inkjet stencils, which a lot of you guys know they're saving your hands and a lot of time with reliable stencil products. Raw Pigments is a pigment ink company based in Hacienda Heights, California, where acrylic-free pigments and bomb colors. So if you guys want to check them out, rawpigments.co. New to our sponsorship list is Dermalize Pro, known in the US as D-Lize Pro. If you guys would like that, more information on them, dermalizepro.com. Other than that, you guys, we are excited to kick off today. We've got a great crew lined up with our chief correspondent in-house. Pretty looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say today. Fawn, how's it going? What are you guys up to today? I'm gonna kick it over to you now.
Man, what is it? What are we up to today?
Well, this is what episode is this today, Lauren?
39 or 40?
39.
That's
39.
insane.
Nice.
I can't.
Yeah, we're getting up there, guys.
We're going strong. So anyone who's been listening for a while, thank you.
Yeah, that's insane to make that mark. Next week, what are you doing special?
I don't know. I feel like we shouldn't do anything special until like maybe the 50th.
It's a round number. Celebrate.
Celebrate every round.
We're going to be extra enthusiastic next week. I'll tell you what.
There you go.
So we'll start with
there
that.
You go.
You know what? We could do the thing that like all the influencers do. We could get the like the big gold balloons and just have a big 40 over in the corner, like a center stage all show next week. Why 40?
Right.
Why not 40?
But yes, right off the bat, we are here with Forrest G.
What's up, Forrest?
The man himself. He just got done with some super badass work.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it was a week ago exactly. It was the second day. So
it was only a week ago.
Yeah. I went down to Atlanta real quick for like 3 days.
Real quick.
quick trip. Where are you living? Where are you looking?
I live in Pittsburgh right now. I went to college here. I've lived here since. But I get around a decent amount for like conventions and tattoo travel.
How far is that from Atlanta?
I've been flying. Thankfully, like Atlanta has like a really good airport.
Yeah, they do.
And like it's pretty cheap flights for all the East Coast, it seems like. So I've been flying down there. I'm thinking about driving for one of these trips just to see what it's like. I mean, it's a big project, so I kind of like have fun on like these trips. Yeah. I don't know. I've never really done like a long haul drive like that. Like, I don't know if I'll even need to stay somewhere else, but I don't know. I'll probably figure it out on one of these trips because I got 2 more days in July. So
dang, I can't wait to see that
July
color in that
already.
piece. I can't wait to show everyone that. It's so badass, man. It definitely looked like it.
Yeah, shared the preview because I was just once I saw the sketch, I was like, man, I just want to like post this everywhere. Like, it looks so sick.
It's so funny though that like when Fawn because Fawn reached out on the podcast thing to you, but like I seen your tattoo and I thought we were had a different guest on today, but I was so stoked right away when I seen it. I was like, holy shit, Forrest just got that done. Oh my God, we got to get him on the podcast.
I saw
literally
Russ's
like
post
2
about
hours
it.
later, I seen your guys' message back and forth. I was like, yes, perfect.
Yep, I saw Russ's little video of this one. I saw Russ's video about it, and I was like, "That's Forrest."
That's
So I
insane.
like
Oh yeah.
messaged him.
Oh,
He was down.
Damn.
Yeah, we've been taking a good amount of videos. Like he just kind of asked me up front, like if he cared if I did it. He got some cool new equipment. Like that's just kind of like he produces a lot of the content on Tattoo Smart. So he's like only tattooing 1 day a week now. I think he's obviously got a lot going on. So it's cool to kind of see him get excited about like the tattoo and like want to like record it and use the material and stuff like that. And like I'm glad he did because that video is fucking awesome. Like just makes it that much better.
Oh yeah, that's a golden video, right?
But yeah, there'll probably be some more good stuff coming out. Like we got some drawings or some video of like whenever he was doing like the marker sketches. I think some other pieces here and there. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see like what he cuts together with it all.
so I remember you got your chest tattooed at Hell City, but I can't remember who did it.
That was
Refresh my memories.
Brian Geckel and Josh Payne. Yeah, we
That's
started that 2019 in Phoenix. I think it was 2019. Like who even knows what year?
I
it
believe
was.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I think that's correct.
There's a lot.
I think
That
that-
sounds like the right year.
I remember watching you walk around just being happy you weren't being tattooed at that moment. That was a long weekend for you.
Yeah, I did a lot of just staring up at the lights. I couldn't
Right.
speak on the Phoenix convention too much just yet, but yeah, it was a really good time. Like the experience of that too was cool, just because like the whole convention was just so hyped about it. And,
Hell
like,
yeah.
I mean, sometimes convention tattoos can be a little rough. Like there's, I don't know, sometimes it's cold, like all these distractions, this and that. But like I don't know, that convention was just like the hype around it. Like, I don't know, it definitely helped me sit. Like I don't even really understand how I sat for. People always ask me how, and I think it was just like the excitement of the convention. Because I really loved
I
the
can
city and
imagine.
like knew a lot of the people. So it was just a great time.
That was a super
Wow.
smooth convention too. Like I remember everything about that just being not a lot of stress. Everything kind of went as according to plan. Like seemed like everybody was there for the right reasons at the show. Like that was a really, really good show. I ran the front camera, so I remember more of you being on stage during the competitions than anything. But that was a particularly smooth show. Like, it was a good time. It's a good time.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm
that
looking
was
forward.
my first Phoenix one. I liked it a lot. Everyone seemed real chill and laid back. I don't know if it's because it's just a beautiful hotel or
It's easy to be relaxed in that environment. That's for sure, man.
drinks are flowing, all that stuff. It's just a good
The
time.
drinks are flowing. The pool's awesome.
Yeah.
Energy's flowing.
Ben and I, so when we were at the Arizona Biltmore, I keep wanting to say last year, but it was
Yeah,
2019.
it was years ago.
Ben and I got a secret special private tour
Oh, yeah, we
because
did.
I showed these ladies that had worked in the gift shop for years and years.
What was
I
their
showed
last
them
name?
I showed them my back piece. The one welled up with tears.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we need to show you around. So
we
I
got to
got-
see secret stuff, man. I don't even know if we're allowed to talk about it. I'm just kidding. I don't think the old ladies will come after us. But yeah, they took us back and showed us a speakeasy and talked about the original, like how there was a searchlight that when the cops came, they would shine it down through the glass ceiling of the speakeasy, and everybody,
everybody
would
could
escape
snake-
through the tunnels and go out to their little hotel room. So there's a lot of history in that place. It was super cool to get that inside scoop from this lady that was basically like, it's my last day. What are they going to do? Fire me? And then walked us around like all through the back parts. All the people back in the office are just kind of looking at us like, I don't know if we're allowed to do this. But
Yeah.
it was a super cool time.
Yep, it was a really good time. And it was funny because we were like just in the gift shop minding our own business, like looking at things. Because I'm an architecture nerd, and like I feel like Frank Lloyd Wright could have been my homeboy. Like we would have hung out together. But anyway, so we're just like looking at things at the gift shop because like I need more knickknacks and trinkets. Like I need a hole in the head. And they came up and they're like, asking us questions like, did you know this, and this about the history? And I was like, Ben, should I show her? And he's like, yeah, Fawn, you should show her.
Do it.
So I like pulled my shirt up and I showed her my back piece, which is based on the bricks from the Biltmore. And she was just like, I couldn't see her face, but Ben could.
She it's really cool when you see people of that generation not just admire but respect the art aspect of what you've done, and to watch them both go from these are people in our gift shop to, oh my goodness, these people really care and understand what happened here. And oh, they get it. There was like this like, I just clicked with these little old ladies in the gift shop. Yes.
Yep.
Like we instantly became best friends because it wasn't about, we weren't there to buy knickknacks. We were looking to see what else was there, you know?
Yeah.
And they picked that up, and it was really cool. I don't want to say a bonding moment, but yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
We got the whole like in-depth history lesson of the Catalina pool, which was Marilyn Monroe's favorite pool.
Yep.
I'm kind of using this opportunity to talk about the Biltmore in my back piece as much as I can because Mr. Russ Abbott did my back piece as well.
Nice.
I'm wearing my Ink and Dagger shirt today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Done.
Cool.
Good day for it.
But I think it's really cool that after talking to you on a previous episode, you were like, well, I'm going to message Russ again. And now you're already like halfway through your project. So it's really cool that like, you know, the
Yeah, I
ball
definitely
got
credit
rolling.
you for that. Cause like I was I'd like touched base with him, put the initial like email request and all that. Like kind of asked around to see like how his booking was. Cause I knew like Brian, he's got like the collab leg sleeve from Russ and Guy.
Uh-huh.
So I like did all that and waited like well over a year. And then that was pretty much like the last time we talked. I was just like kind of talking about like future plans. Like I knew that I wanted to get tattooed by Russ. Like it's been that way for like a long time. I just kind of always been a matter of like what and where, but I knew I wanted to.
This plan will happen.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But then even like being on that waiting list, I was like, he was like, yeah, about like a year and a half or so. And yeah, and then I finally hit him back up. So yeah, I credit you for that because I just needed that extra push to like just finally book it and make it happen. Because sometimes that's what it takes. Like I just want to see that dedication and then just like the persistent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I don't mind waiting. Like plenty of other areas.
It's permanent.
Tattoos to do.
It probably took about 2 years from like initially meeting Russ to actually starting my project with him. So it was at least a year and a half or 2 years before we actually got started. But that's what it takes. Like
Did you get
persistent patience. That's
did
what
you
it
put
is.
in a message and then wait a long time? I forgot.
So
Or did you know him from Hell City or anything like that before you messaged him?
I mean,
Or meet him at least?
Russ is one of those artists who I've always looked up to and admired just because of the stuff that he does. It's like the ornamental work that he does and the scroll work. You've seen the antiques and stuff in my house. Like you can see how like Russ's choice of approach just like pulls my trigger.
Mhm.
Like he tattoos like a sculptor. You know what I mean? Like he tattoos like a very thoughtful, like very methodical, processy sculptor. Like, and I think that's what draws me to his work. Like I feel like he's inspired by a lot of the things that inspire me. So I always like, I never thought I would actually have the chance to meet Russ, let alone collect work from him. Like he was of that status to me. But then again, like, so is Guy. Like to me, Russ is right up there with Guy and
Totally.
Derb and, you know, like
Mhm.
it's pretty special to like not only say like I've met Russ Abbott, but like I finally got him to work on me.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Guy.
That's like the weird thing about the tattoo industry. Like you idolize these people and like they're like the top of the industry and all that. Like, but like they're musicians or something like that. It's not like you'd be able to meet them and like talk to them.
They're approachable.
Something like that. Like you're actually, if you want it bad enough, you can meet and get to know these people that like you've been looking up to forever. So it's always
right.
a weird like dream state going to get tattooed by these kinds of people, or even just talking to them, or like doing the podcast like this. It's all like, oh shit, like I guess I'm here.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're so happy to have you here. And yeah, I remember Adam was like the first big name artist that I went to, and like I was looking up to Adam's work for years, and then finally pulled the trigger on that. That was a big deal to me, like 4 or 5 years ago and stuff. And then yeah, I just thought that was awesome. And then meeting him, being like, oh yeah, super chill, fucking awesome dude. You know, it's like, I don't know, you look at people's art and stuff. I don't necessarily have an idea of like who I thought he was or anything like that, but just like meeting people you look up to, it's like, oh yeah, Adam's super chill ass dude. And fucking, it was the same with Guy.
If you would have asked me,
Guy's a little intense in the best way, but
if you would have asked me
super
10 years
friendly.
ago who my top 5 favorite tattooers are, I've had them all work on me. So I took a lot of crap early on in my tattoo career because I didn't get heavily tattooed right away like a lot of tattooers do. Like I didn't tattoo myself. I didn't do the things, like I didn't trade work for work with anybody. You know, I was really patient because I knew, like, after being to art school and being in that little tiny microcosm of an art community, I saw that, like, you outgrow your fishbowl, and you outgrow your fishbowl, and you outgrow your puddle, and then you outgrow your pond, and then you outgrow your lake, and then, you know what I mean? Like you always like outgrow the group that you're in. So even early on in my tattoo career, I was like, I know I'm going to meet better artists. I know I'm going to meet some of the artists that I look up to. I had no idea that I would actually have the chance to have Russ work on me, or to have Guy work on me, or to have Ty work on me. When Adam, it took a long time to get Adam told me no 3 times before we started my project. We've talked about that before, but once we did, Adam and I were having the conversation, like, who are your favorite tattooers? Da, da, da. And I was like, Ty, Russ, you know, I'm listing the people, Guy. And he's like, I mean, I know Ty, we work together all the time. I was like, oh yeah. So like while we're doing like the marker drawing, like the initial marker drawing on my leg, he's like, yeah, I'm like, you down for collabs? I was like, I'm absolutely down for collabs. So it was just kind of cool that like that connection to Ty happened very casually. And then I wasn't even working in Detroit. Derb was getting worked on by Russ. Russ was doing that skull on Derb's inner arm. And it like goes right up to his armpit. So it was super spicy. Which way does this go? Does it matter? So anyways, Derb was not having it. You could just tell he was over it. It was hurting him. Like he was taking it. He was getting tattooed, but you could tell it hurt. I was like, you want me to go to like CBS and get you some Bactine? He was like, yes. Like I don't think I didn't even work at Red Tree yet. I was still running my own studio. I think I was on one of my Michigan trips. So Derb was like, yes. Bactine, please. So I go get him some Bactine. And when they take a break, he takes the time to introduce me to Russ. And it was just a really casual way to like meet him. Right. So like all of these artists that I thought I would never have the chance to be worked on by, it's been, with the exception of Guy. Like I emailed Guy and that happened like
it's funny how
people normally
there's
schedule
like
tattoos, but there's like this like happenstance, or these like the things line up that allow you to meet that person that you're already like your brain and imagination are already aligned with them if you want to work on them. But it's really cool the way that like serendipity happens and like you get to share a space with them casually, and then it's like, oh well, you know who I am, man. You love my work.
When like like-minded minds start to like poke at each other's world, like I feel like that's when like the universe starts like pushing something like that.
There's
action.
like a magnetic thing that like draws the like-minded together, and I think that happens in the art world. And I think it especially happens in the tattoo world because we've already got this one thing in common. We eat, sleep, and breathe tattoos. Those of us that are like tattooing or heavy collectors. So we've already got that huge wavelength that we have in common.
And especially when you're like, I don't want to say higher echelon, but like just like artists who are really good at their craft and really like finally honed in their craft, like it's a little bit of a different mindset as people that have really, you know, there's a lot of self-discipline that comes in that. There's just, I don't know, people have a different mindset, and it's
the overachiever mindset.
Right. And it just makes for good people.
Yeah. Like not only am I going to tattoo, I want to push tattooing further. Like that's a pretty cool mindset to have. A lot of people start tattooing and they get happy once their books are full. That's their thing. They're going to keep doing it. It's fine. But then you've got these other artists that like every few years they're doing something totally different and new. And then that something totally different and new adds to this other thing that they were doing that was totally different and new. And then you see artists like carving out a channel and a path through this huge crowd of thousands and thousands of tattooers. But you see these few people that are doing their own thing, and they're doing it better than anybody else in the world. You know, like that's pretty cool.
I feel
it's pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah, it is really cool.
I feel like all the artists that I've collected from, like they're of that. They're like there's nobody else that works like Adam does. Like you could categorize artists with him, but like when you see Adam France's work, you know it's Adam France's work, whether it's the organic stuff like mine or the more robotic stuff like yours. Like you know Adam's work when you see it. Russ is the same. Like you know Russ's scroll work when you see Russ's scroll work. You know what I mean? Like there's nobody that does it like Russ. Why? Because Russ has been studying the sculptors and he's thinking like the sculptor would, as well as thinking like an engineer, as well as developing this high-tech technology so that like not only he can do it, but he can show everybody else how to do it too. Like he's not only carving the path, but he's sharing those secrets as he's going. And I think that's really special. I think that's a really special quality about Russ is he's just such an innate teacher and like, what's the word I'm looking for? Innovator?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I
Innovator.
mean, anybody that pushes it as far as they do to take the time to
A Renaissance
their
tattoo
tattoos
artist.
always map the
Absolutely.
body
Renaissance
so
man.
well.
Mhm.
And to make something fit and be as form in between other pieces of work and make it all tie together, and just it takes a certain mindset for somebody to do that, to map out a whole side and make it all fit perfect and flow. And like it's
Russ and I were talking at one
Super
of my
mind-blowing.
sessions. He was like, because, you know, my collection's pretty much all bio. I mean, I've got a couple little pieces that aren't, but it's pretty much all bio work. And he's like, you know, it's funny that a lot of people like group me together with these bio artists. He's like, but I don't think I'm bio at all. Like it's so far out of my realm. Like it's so abstract. And I was like, well, Russ, like I consider you a bio artist because of your scroll work and your ornamental work. Like, and he was just like, like you could see the question in his eye. And
Right.
I was like, well, I mean, what makes good scroll work, Russ? Like you got to, the acanthus leaves need to look like they're growing around each other, and they need to look like they're gracefully moving in the wind and moving with the body, right? And he's like, oh, absolutely. That's the difference between good and bad, basically.
right.
And I was like, well, that's the trick to bio, is it's supposed to look alive, and it's supposed to look like it's moving, and it's supposed to enhance the body and transform it. I was like, so the way that the bio that pulls my trigger, the bio that makes me like
Yep.
just salivate, is the bio that looks like it's transformative, it's growing, and it's moving. And then I personally
Yeah,
like some kind of
I
energy
agree.
source as well, just because that's my preference. But it was cool for him to be like, that does make sense. Like
Yeah, for sure.
good scroll work needs to look like it's growing. It needs to look graceful. It needs to look functional. So it was really cool to like, I don't know, just like pick apart Russ's work with him and be like, this is why bio people love your work, because it's bio. Like it's abstract, it's beautiful. Like you call it
It's
ornamental scroll work,
it's
but I call it
form-fitting.
abstract and beautiful and imaginative. And like this is the thing that people, this is the language that designers have been using for, you know, since like the Rococo period.
Right.
And then let's go even further back. Like before that, you've got the Romans, you've got the Greeks, and they're all using different leaves and different natural forms with purpose.
Yeah, especially when
You
you're
know,
morphing it
it's
into the
got-
body like that, and the body's just morphing into it,
Yeah,
so it makes the actual
That's what's
transformation.
the most impressive to me.
Well,
Just like good
with-
architecture, when you just see
Yeah.
like bricks, just all, you know, concrete
The
just moving
structure.
right
It
into
fits
some
perfect.
cool
it's
scroll work.
it's growing, but it's also structured. It also bears its own weight.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like these forms, not only are they graceful and beautiful, but they're very strong. Like structurally, they're very strong forms. And it's funny because like, oh, that's why nature uses these forms.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, oh, they grew like this for a reason. They stand the test of elements for a reason because of the form. And
And it's attracted the eye of art since
Mhm.
how long ago for that same reason?
Yep.
Because
God, I
that's-
love those ochres. I
and then
just love
and then at the
those
same
ochres and
time,
all
let's
the
talk
orange-
about the
all
geometry,
the
like
yellows and
the
stuff that are
ornamental
used in it.
geometry that
Right.
he uses and everything. Like it's all extra. It's not like let's do mandala.
Right.
Let's take this mandala. We'll do this geometric mandala or kaleidoscope shape, but let's extrude it 3 inches and then put this trippy background behind it. It's like he's like, oh, I see you Black artists, and I raise you color and 3D and form and structure. Russ, you got us again. Like in the best way. I'm,
Right,
I'm
right.
definitely not digging at anybody. It's just that these are the things that like set Russ above. It's like he
Yeah.
can see what everybody else is doing, and he's just like, let's push it further.
Mhm.
I know this can be more than it is. Not that there's wrong. Like not
Right.
that it's wrong that other artists
no.
are doing geometry in different ways.
No, like
but
even when I'm working on like mandalas and stuff, or like, you know, big geometric stuff, there's that part of me that's like, okay, I can keep it like this blackwork ornamental, you know, semi like minimalistically, you know, it doesn't got a ton of shading and stuff, you know, big gradient and just like lots of line worked out work. But then there's always in my head, there's like, you know, I could take that and definitely extrude it, shade from all these lines, and like really get into it and make it like 5 times as long of a process.
Right.
And like part of me, the bio in me wants to do it so bad. You
Right.
know, it's like this geometric mandala could definitely be a bio mandala, but then like
some projects, the simplicity is the beautiful.
Yeah, the
beautiful
minimalist
part,
in me
though.
is like, it looks good like the way it is. Do we want to put them through 3 more sessions of going through this and layering? And
What does your collector want?
Yeah.
if they say I want that fucking bio mandala, they're gonna get a bio mandala.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna love it.
That's the thing. You're always catering
But-
to someone as well.
but
So
also-
somebody gives you free reign.
Most
to
people
be
are
able to-
looking for that black work.
right.
You're probably able to like read off their excitement level, like what they're in for. Anyways, you guys are dealing with people like every day, so
Yeah, I got so many tells and
I'm
keys
sure.
that I see with people where I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I see what I'm gonna do with that. I see what I'm gonna do with that. Okay, you like a little bio? Oh, okay, well,
sneak it in,
now
we'll
I'm over
sneak
here
it
with
in.
it. So, yeah, it's up to Usually, that's the issue with like my work a little bit. It's like so much of me wants to do like bio, and I love the bio side, and I could fucking fall into that all day. And then so much of me loves like geometry and everything with geometry. There is a happy middle ground. But at the same time, sometimes, you know, half the people that come to me for geometry, or 3/4 of the people that come to me for geometry, like want the black work, ornamental work.
Right.
And then there's the other 25% that wants like maybe like color work or like something a little bit more extravagant. And that's when like I can like get a little bit more detailed in there with it. But I love all of it, you know? So it's like, if you were to ask me which one do I want to do the most, it's like,
Yes.
I could tell you something tonight, but ask me next month, and like,
Right.
I'll probably like the other one.
Mhm.
a little bit
Right.
more. It's like whatever I'm doing the most of, pretty soon I'm gonna start moving into something else for a little while, and then I'm gonna move back into it. It's the rhythm of my clients, but also like the rhythm of my own like
right.
intuitive process.
It's hard to stay excited about the same thing for reading.
I can
all the
definitely
time.
stay excited about it. It's just like I want to, like my brain's like, oh, but there's this other thing that I want to do the other thing on the other thing because
Right.
I only got two hands and I can only do so much. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like I want to do all these different styles and all these different things, but I can only do so
The
much.
time and people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's trying to circuit all that into like one grand thing in the end. Eventually. But right now I just love doing it all.
Do you ever have just like
It's
the,
just trying to figure out what people are like to circle that around what people want when they come to me. Do you want
Mhm.
this? Do you want this? Or do you want this? Because some people will
Right.
want this, but then they want a mix of this, but they don't know how to say that. So they're only showing me this.
I got to ask people because I'm doing so much, like I call almost everything that I do scenery, even if it's like make believe, because I imagine spaces, not necessarily things, maybe a thing in the space, but the whole space is what I imagine. So now when I'm having consultations, I have to be like, okay, so we're doing nature scene. Are we doing this in like realistic colors, or is this going to be like trippy colors? You know what I mean?
What's
There's
your
like the, like we can make this totally like realistic, or we can like push it and exaggerate, or we can totally flip flop the colors altogether. Or we can make this look like a Tron universe. Do you
Right.
want to make it look like Tron? I haven't
I
been
wanna
there
do
lately.
Tron.
But like,
I'm going to give
do
you
some
homework. I'm going
Tron.
to give you 3 movies to watch.
See, this, if you
You're
can
going to watch
Interstellar.
Tron, The
Tron.
Terminator, Tron, Bob Ross.
No, here's how it would be. It'd be like, okay, I need you to go watch Interstellar. I need you to watch Disney's Fantasia, and then like maybe just the intro of Tron, and then the intro to Fight Club.
we're done.
Just
That
that's the
sounds like a
homework I
fun
need.
project for people who come to me for bio. Like, I need
if you
to
gave
watch
me that many
like,
options, I'd be like, just pick something and tell me what we're doing.
I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna pick these movies for you, and you have to watch them as homework before our consultation.
So what if we started like, so Ben's wife, Em, is my manager. She helps me schedule, and like, I feel like I answer to her, and it keeps me so much more on track. It's like somebody to be accountable to. It's nice.
Yeah,
Instead of feeling
yeah.
accountable to like every single person that messages me, I feel accountable to Em.
Yeah.
As long as we're communicating, everything's fine. Everything in my world's fine. I don't even need to touch my email as long as Em and I are communicating. So it makes life really easy. But maybe one of the things that we could
Here are
adjust.
some
We could,
visual references.
yeah, like when
for
people
you two.
when people first message, like before we even get to like planning the consultation, like, okay, you're in line for a consultation. In the meantime, watch these 4 movies.
right.
Like this is the inspiration. And like
If you're not into this, we're not on the same page.
oh, another good intro is the intro to Turbo, the snail. Because
Yes,
it's
I
all like
do.
super
I
close
do.
up. Like Fight
It
Club
is.
is like the close up
It
of the
is.
neural synapses, and then
Oh,
it
that's
pans
bad.
out to the gun. You know what I'm talking about? The very
Yeah.
beginning of Fight Club. I love that. It's the most bio intro ever.
Yeah, I love
like
it.
I remember looking at that and being like, oh, it's so close up. It's like abstract.
Have you ever
Oh,
seen
I
the
wanna
intro?
make it."
The intro to Prometheus.
Is it the same way? I
It's
don't
like
think I've seen it.
all the DNA and stuff like spiraling into each other when like the alien like eats the poison that like disintegrates its body to like seed the earth. And then like
That's
it just
the kind of
goes
stuff
into
I'm
how
talking
it peels
about.
apart its DNA. So all the DNA is just like breaking apart, but then it all comes back
Yep,
together and
I haven't
evolves into
seen
life.
it, but it sounds like I would love it.
Oh, it's so trippy.
I'm gonna have to watch
It's so
that.
trippy.
Yeah, I think this is going to be like future client homework. And then like maybe I'll throw in a hike somewhere. Like, oh, and you've also got to visit 3 out of these 10 waterfalls in Ohio. Like, what if I made
Must
these the
be willing
criteria?
to collect.
Because then when
So-
we see each other, we've already got all these things in common. Your mind was blown by Interstellar. Now you're questioning reality and other dimensions. So then we can talk about aliens. Then we can talk about
So-
ghosts. Then we can.
You and I have
Just
talked
connects all
before
the
about
dots.
doing the Easter egg stuff.
Yes.
So if you put it inside of your consultation, like, hey, must go to X location and find this geocached blah, 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 and that's the instructions on the actual email to contact you.
That could be like the golden ticket to cut in line.
Right,
Like you get the
right,
very next day I
right.
have open. If
Yep.
you go to the trouble to do this,
Yep.
you get my next day
You
off.
want to
I
book
feel like
Sunday?
it's a slippery slope into them coming in the day of their tattoo and you ready for an ayahuasca ceremony before they start, which would be awesome.
How much party did you bring? I'm just saying.
Hmm.
No, but that would be fun criteria. I feel like some people would
Or
find it
even do it as
exhausting.
a,
Well,
Forrest, as a collector, would you, if there was an artist that you wanted to collect from and they were like, I only work on people who have done this, so like go do this thing, and then when you find this, like text me from the number on the such and we'll get it scheduled. Like, would you go through the hoops, or would you be like, this artist is nuts?
I mean, I probably would. It's like sounds like an adventure. Like that's kind of already how I like do
All right.
tattoos
All
anyway.
right.
Like I'm already.
So I'm not crazy.
what if it
thinking
was
that,
a
like,
special
scavenger hunt would
event
be like-
instead of a way to get on the books? What if you were like, hey, I've got this super rad project. This is what I'm doing. If
A lot of
you
glass
want
blowers do
this
that.
project, go through these steps and you jump to the front of the books.
Yeah, they'll
So
make
instead of
something
making
rad
it the
and new
way
and then
to
go hide it
contact,
somewhere.
make it a special event.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, this is your way to cut in line. This
Yeah.
is your way. If you don't want to have a 6-month wait before we can even have your consultation, like,
Well, that's
this is your
also a
way
way
to
for
get my next day off.
you to do something really rad that you've pre-mapped out and that you've put a lot of focus into, and
And then
you get to deal
whoever,
with
like,
a client that wants that
yeah,
work.
whoever went
There's
that
no
far
middle
out of the
ground.
way would really want it.
Yeah.
On my first session
Mm-hmm.
with Russ, he was actually like, we were just talking about random stuff, and he was like joking around about this idea that he had about like making NFTs, and then like being ordered to book with him, you have to like buy through an NFT or something like that just to be able to like
what?
drive
You gotta
Very
buy the piece of
incredibly
art.
of
exclusive.
NFT art of his. Like, I mean, we were obviously just like messing around and stuff, but it's still a similar idea of like, hey, if you want to book with me, here's what you got to do.
There's a lot
Just
of
some
weird
kind of
NFT
hoop to
stuff
go
going on
through.
with tattoos and stuff. I haven't
And that
really
could pay off for the
looked
client
into it.
anyways if they buy some NFT art just to book with Russ, and then years later, like NFTs actually blow up and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, it's just funny, fun stuff like that is, I don't know, just an added benefit, I guess, for the
Yeah.
experience.
I think every artist who draws up a tattoo, once the design's done, they should just turn that design into an NFT.
Yeah.
I think anyone who makes
like,
any
yeah.
piece of art now should just be turned into an
Okay,
NFT, just
so-
in case.
So for someone that's not an artist, what is that?
It's a non-fungible token, which is basically turning your piece of art into like something someone can own, like a digital piece of media. into-
Digital,
you can-
non-transferable piece of art.
So, it's
like you
basically
don't end up with like tattoo face from that one movie that put Mike Tyson's tattoo on the guy's face and there was a big legal battle.
yeah.
Oh no, not like that.
Yeah.
This is like basically it's the cryptocurrency of the art world.
Okay.
If that does that make sense? Is that
I'm
a
pretty sure it's
quick,
kind of
easy
like
way
that.
to
I don't.
describe
I'm
it?
So does
still
it-
looking into it.
Does it give you the right?
Do you have any idea?
Yeah, help me out.
What the
I mean,
art
I've never
world is
heard
for
of this.
NFTs?
Not really. I'm just like more interested that like art can sell for that much. That's the only reason I've like kind of kept up on it, but like the technicalities behind it, as far as like the crypto and all that, I don't really like. I don't know. It's investing is really like an interest of mine, so I don't really dive too deep into it. But the art side, of it is
I know it turns it into like a super, like the biggest thing about the NFT is the security. So it's like it's all about having something that cannot be reproduced.
Yeah, it's
and
so
it's
encrypted that
unhackable, all
you
that
can't
shit.
Send it to anybody.
So once
you
that
can't
turns
replicate
into
it.
an NFT, all other everything should be pretty much deleted of it. But that's like the thing with an NFT is that people are selling their digital art as NFTs now, but other people laugh at it because it's like, ha, I can just print out a fucking JPEG of that shit off the internet. You know, what's the
It's true
difference?
for any art though. Like anyone could just take a picture of your painting, like.
But because it
tattoo,
has that
whatever.
right, but because it has that encryption, it actually can have that worth because it makes it something that's like
It is a
you know,
one of a kind.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like perfect.
so
authenticity.
even if like you have a
It's
JPEG, it's like still a JPEG. Like you don't have the actual thing, but what that worth is to whoever thinks
It's
that's
like
worth something.
way
To
to
some
build value.
people,
Do you
it's,
follow
to rich
Beeple?
people, it can be $1 million. It can be $30,000. It can be whatever. What?
Do you follow
Does that
Beeple
work?
on
Oh yeah,
Instagram?
people.
Beeple?
What up, Todd?
Todd.
What's
joined
up?
us.
How's it going, bro?
Yo.
He snuck
Beeple
in.
Does
is
that-
up on Instagram.
Yeah, people is awesome.
No.
Beeple, he's like way into the NFTs, but he's been making digital art for a really long time, and he makes a lot of
13
very
years,
political
I think.
digital art.
Mhm. I really
But-
want to start.
But
NFTing my
anything that I
stuff.
know, anything that I know that's credible and trustworthy is what I'm learning from his page, basically. So if I'm
Okay.
wrong, because I'm listening to Beeple, but I feel like he knows what's up.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you my
Beeple.
reference just to be clear.
Beeple. Come on, people. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, pull it up.
So,
It's on Instagram. It's either
so what's up, everybody?
Hey, Todd.
What's that, Lauren?
Yeah.
Got it right here for you.
Hey,
Lauren's got it.
Beeple.
Yeah.
I think he sold like a compilation of like a giant pieces of his work for like 80 million or something like that. Like one
80
single NFT.
million.
Yeah. Because he does like, I think he was doing like one a day for like some crazy amount of time.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of artists just living off of selling.
Yeah, you get basically that little plastic token that's like illuminated, and then that's your print, is that little plastic digital glowy thing. So that's it. That's the artwork that you have to view and hold in your hand, but it's really like fake. If it's not powered, it's black. I mean, I shouldn't say it's fake. It's like it's still digital. It's not like having a painting. It's still just an electronic file.
Yeah, completely intangible.
That's
Mhm.
that's the word, not fake. I use fake too freely. Fake art.
Oh, man.
Non-art.
I just love all of his stuff though. It's so like weird. It invokes more questions than answers. I think I love art like that though.
Like all of it slightly
Very
revolting way, but like as good, positively as possible. I mean that.
What'd you say?
It's like they're all slightly revolting, like in a way, like make you feel
Oh,
something.
right. Right. It forces you to ask the questions.
Absolutely.
You're like, oh,
I
why?
like that.
Why would you do that?
Why would you? So your mantis behind you, Jordan, it actually matches everything in the room really well.
Right. Look at that red behind it. Thank you.
Is that a work in progress? Is
What'd you say?
that like a work in progress?
No, I actually started it and finished it yesterday.
Hey, what? That looks cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yep, Alla Prima. Just put some linseed oil on the canvas and just did a quick oil painting. Just wanted to do a mantis, but I haven't done any photorealism in a long time, so it felt nice to just like bang out a nice little painting. Honestly, it took 3 hours. That's the quickest painting I've
What?
done. That's probably the quickest painting I've done and got like that rich a detail. Without, it's also super abstract. Like in reality, a lot of it's super blurry and was super quick. But I just spent most of the time in the face, which makes the face look so much closer.
Selective focus.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Mhm.
mhm. And that bokeh in the background. I had fun making those little like sphery things back there.
Do you post up on Instagram or anything?
I
Like,
think
take a
so.
look at it?
Yeah. I made a little TikTok out of it. Process.
Nice.
So Todd and I were talking about something yesterday. We were messaging back and forth. We gossip with each other. We talk about weed and we kind of gossip. But we were talking about a collector. I don't necessarily want to name his name. I'm shifting.
Well,
Um,
but I know that Forrest knows who I'm talking about, and the other ones, they know what I'm talking about.
so as passionate as we all are about collectors, and as seriously as we take our artwork, and as much as we respect the artists who work on us, which is basically what we've been talking about all day, is like how special it is to get these artists' time and attention. What, as a collector, how do you guys feel when somebody shows up to an appointment and they're nodding out and sloppy and just like do you
Over.
as
You're
a,
leaving.
as a
It's-
collector, do
it's
you feel
done.
disrespected then too?
Absolutely.
If I pick up on it,
Because as an
Absolutely.
artist, I do.
Absolutely.
if I pick up on it beforehand, like I'm gonna be pretty turned off. But if like, so unfortunately, I pick up on it in the middle of a fucking tattoo where I'm like, oh fuck, this person's like super sloppy and weird.
Yeah, Todd and I were talking about this
Sorry, I just
collector, and
got
he
up,
was
but,
like
that's-
nodding out in the middle of a convention. Like,
Who was?
oh, I don't
Some-
necessarily want to say the collector's name. I don't want to.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
But like this collector was just
Not
like,
Golden State.
yeah, just
Yeah.
like nodding out. I guess like 10 minutes after he
Just
got to the
fucking
booth.
probably heroin or Xannies or something like that, some benzos.
Well, he was walking around foaming at the mouth too after, and that. I mean, he was pretty.
Fucked up.
Whatever he
far
took, he
gone.
was fucked up.
No, I don't
That's
want to.
sad.
I don't want to tattoo people like that.
That's
And the killer for this though is it was for a touch-up,
what?
not
So
an
he was
actual
just
tattoo.
totally wasting the artist's time.
It was a touch-up with Mike Perry.
My
Yeah.
thing is if it's a touch up, he's not doing that for pain management. That's somebody that's their
Just pilled out.
lifestyle, and unfortunately, that's a hard lifestyle to continue a day-to-day life with and not be noticed. And when
But
you're in a
that's not
huge
his
crowd like-
lifestyle though.
it's not.
No.
I don't know this
definitely not.
person, and I don't know the circumstance. I'm just speaking in general. But that's, man, I would assume that would be somebody that's been living that life, and that's sad. Man. So
In
they
other words,
just went to do that.
collectors, if you're listening,
If they took that for pain management for a touch up,
But
wow.
do not come into your tattoo all fucked up, please.
No.
Please don't.
Jeez.
Please don't.
Never have.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't want to tattoo you.
That's
I don't want to. I mean, you can have like if you have
Touch
a beer or
subjects.
something, like if you're someone who's okay at moderation, you understand, like smoke weed, drink a beer or whatever. I don't care. I'd rather you not drink a beer because it's going to thin your blood. But I mean, not going to be the end of the world. But there's a big difference between that and then being fucking wasted or
Yeah.
being,
we can't do our
Pilled-
job well.
pilled out on
We
benzos
can't
or
do our job
opiates.
well when you're like that.
heaven
No,
forbid.
I need clear communication, and I also can't sit there feeling awkward because I'm a fucking human, and I live off communication. I talk to all my clients, and if you're the weird one out of the bunch, and you're not, it's okay if you don't talk and shit like that. But if you're nodding out and being weird, I'm gonna register it, and it's
Mhm.
not gonna make me comfortable.
Tattoos induce stress. Okay. If there is somebody that is already intoxicated and you're inducing stress to them and they happen to have a heart attack, who's that on? Because I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't want to sign that paperwork. I don't want to call the squad.
Yeah, that's.
What like I
No,
don't
I mean,
want anything to do with
I
that.
have we have no idea what your health situation is. That's exactly correct. I mean, who knows? Your fucking kidneys might shut down.
Right.
Your your liver, you might go to the
Heaven forbid you
bathroom and
took
shit
one
out your
too many
liver.
this
You know what I
time, and
mean?
now I got to deal with you.
Jordan, you take it to the most extreme.
But it could be. You never.
It's the truth.
You never
though.
know. I don't want to
Like,
deal with any of that. What, like the extreme of that is just like some situation could pop up in the middle of your tattoo that we have to deal with because you're strung out or you're drunk or whatever. It might not. It's not going to have anything to do with the tattoo. But I don't want to be here as well dealing with
Yeah.
whatever downward spiral you're.
I don't
going
want to
through
deal
in
with that
life.
at the grocery
Hey,
store, let alone at
But-
work.
but
You know what I mean?
I've-
And I'm not a tattooer.
Chuck won't have me a problem saying this because he says it all the time. But when he got tattooed by Duffy, he was so fucking drunk. I mean, I was looking at Duffy, and Duffy sort of just laughing about it and that. But you could tell that Duffy was sort of getting irritated by it at towards the end. And that, but it's Chuck. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you're already on a friendly level, like I've definitely tattooed my friends, and like they got a little drunker than they planned while I was working on them. But it's because we like let our guard down, and halfway through the session, they're like, "Well, I'm not driving home tonight."
Right. There is leeway if you know the artist and all that, but being a random,
But
you
like,
know, some
especially at
random
a
person.
convention, I just
Yeah.
feel like that's the epitome of disrespectful. Like the artist is there to show off and show off good work and to show off good clients. And to top it off, said collector tries to consult other collectors for $1,000 to $2,000 a month on how to collect tattoos.
What?
Pretty
That's
nuts,
Dude,
right?
I've
Really?
just heard of people doing that. I wasn't aware that like.
Wait.
it's
Wait, you can
feasible.
make money for giving recommendations?
I feel like that's a horrible hustle.
Supposedly,
A
apparently,
tattoo
I
Do
went
you
to
know
go
how many
write
goddamn
tattoo
tattooers I
consult.
know? I'm missing a market here.
There you go.
Jeez.
Talk about that middleman
I'm
talk.
kidding.
Even for free, I feel weird giving people recommendations because it is all art. Like it's all like perceptual. Like people
Right.
do different things. Like I'm sure there's tons of people who don't like my tattoos. Like they wouldn't wear stuff like this, and like vice versa. That's why like.
I wear your torso tattoo. I would. I think that's fucking
Yeah.
cool. But
I'd trade you.
Yeah, for sure.
Great tattoos are like other styles that people probably like look at mine. They're like, I don't get it. Whatever.
Yeah,
Which I think, like, that's what I love about tattoos. Like, there's even some stuff like I like, it's kind of funny. Like I'll look at Instagram and I'm like, oh, I'm not even like really into the geometric that much. And then I'll like look down at my body. I'm like, oh, I am. Yeah, like,
Wait a second.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
I'm
yes, I
totally
do.
covered
I
in
love
geo. I love
this.
it.
yeah. And then I don't know. So it's just like, I don't know, the varying interests and stuff like that's why I just feel weird giving recommendations. Like I'll give my opinion and tell people like what I think, but I'm never like, yeah, this is what you should do. This, I'll, if anything, just give them advice on like how to, like, I guess maintain that like respect and professionalism and like how to go about an appointment rather than like,
Yeah,
hey, this
I
is
could see the
Exactly.
I could see the big benefits of it with you know, an unbiased like someone who's really knowledgeable about a lot of different styles and a lot of different artists, and also like, you know, can listen to someone's ideas and be like, okay, well, there are these tons of different artists who it could be, so it's not necessarily based on who my you know, who their tastes are, as much as like, oh,
Right.
your idea, like, because some people just have a hard time finding a portfolio in general. But
There-
the
there
other
needs
side
to
of
be
it
a
is
follow-up.
you're also doing what Instagram could easily do, so they're going to end up realizing they're paying for something that Instagram could give them.
I gotta interject. I just want
But
to say
also,
this
I
while we're
think
on the
it
topic.
could definitely be. I'm not saying that completely. I just think there's a level of it that's kind of like that. But also, like, I think it's much. I would love, if I didn't know much about the tattoo industry, I would love to just be able to message someone, you know,
Yeah.
or talk to someone and be like, hey, these are my ideas. I don't want to like bother an artist who doesn't want to do this shit, because usually it's kind of nerve wracking messaging, you know, a high name artist or something.
Right.
And then you also the fear of rejection. You know, some people just don't want to get rejected. You know, you don't want to hear that. So it's also nice.
Yes.
I just want to interject because this thing that apparently this guy thinks he can charge other people for, like consulting on how to collect. I mean, I'm sure he's talking to people about like how to arrange their collection and like how to look at their overall body. I would hope. But anybody out there who's looking for somebody to consult with about your tattoo collection, apparently it can be really expensive, but there's this free resource called the Tattoo Collecting Podcast. Listen to us. We'll give you all the advice. If you have questions, we've got our Instagram that you can interact immediately with us. Like even while we're live, if somebody started bouncing us questions, like we will answer questions live, but like it's such a personal journey. Like,
Right.
yes, think it over, get guidance, but like don't pay somebody money for it. That's just a hustle. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for that scam. It is a scam if somebody is trying to charge you an arm and like it sounds like he's charging more for advice than some artists charge for a session of
Jeez.
work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's wrong. You're paying
Well,
more to talk to this guy than you could be paying to actually get the work.
Yeah. Wait a second here. There's a flip side to this. It's, you know, I keep on saying that. Why are we making stupid people famous? You know, all these influencers and all this bullshit that's out there and that. I don't get it, you know,
I
but
agree.
you know, that also showed him being able to do that shows you how stupid people are to even
Sheeple.
go to him.
Yeah.
That they're that easily influenced by an image.
Right.
I mean, that's a sad take on our society when we've come to that. And to think that you need advice by someone who, you know, I'll admit the guy's got what he's got on him is really nice, but it's not for me, but for others it is. But
And he could be so susceptible to influence as well. Like who's like someone could be paying this consult person to get people to direct someone. It could be his homies. Be like, oh yeah, I got these 10 homies. I got these 10 homies. Yeah, they're good tattooers, but he's always going to direct people to these 10 people or something. You might as well just be working for a tattoo shop or fucking, you know, telling people to go to this one tattoo shop.
It happens all the time. You're standing, you're pretty heavy covered, you're in the grocery store, and someone's like, who do you recommend? And it's spur of the moment. And there always has to be this moment of follow-up question. And it's like, well, what tattoo do you want? Because if someone tells you, well, I want some script, it's like, I'm not going to recommend you to a higher dollar best situation. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to send you to the street shop down the road where I know, you know what I mean? Like as I get that question all the time. And it's like, what's your investment point? But you can't ask a stranger, what's your investment point? That's fucking rude. So you have to ask them, what's your tattoo? You know, like what's your idea?
Yeah.
And if they give you this long convoluted plan of 38 pictures they want crammed into their forearm, you're like, yeah, and just pick some random shop.
Okay.
If they give you a cool idea, give them a cool lead. And I mean, that's generally how I approach it. Like, yeah, I'm stuck in a conversation at the grocery store, but it gives me some wiggle room.
Yeah.
But to get back to the kid, and again, he is a kid, young 20s. Now, how arrogant are you to think that you know it all, that you can actually consult people on what to do or how to go about doing it?
Yeah, he has collected from a lot of really good collectors, but his collection is just pieced together. Like each piece has flow and each piece is good, but you can tell he didn't think about his overall collection first because it's just kind of coming together and there's not really any visible theme for the viewer, you know, like, so like as Todd and I were kind of gossiping about the situation yesterday, I was like looking at his page, both of his pages, and being like, he's just like run-of-the-mill kid with money.
Yes. But here's the other thing, but he's arrogant though too in some aspects, because he was in Nico's shop and my buddy was getting ready to tattoo his client, and he walked right up to his client and goes, "I think such and such should finish your suit." Why my buddy's getting ready to lay the stencil out on him and that. I mean,
that's rude.
How inappropriate is that?
That's just
What'd he say?
rude.
What'd he say?
He basically said somebody else should be doing this work, and as they're starting to do some work.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
That's just brazen.
I've heard that from multiple different
brazen.
people that have went to shops and just had like things like that said.
I do believe you get hit.
Where like they went in for one artist and another artist was doing it. Like there was only another artist there to do it, but the artist who was actually agreed to do it wasn't. So it's like another artist got forced to do it. Like Emily's got, I think, a tattoo on her that was from an artist that did that to her.
You came, I said yes, but I'm double booked. So
right, and then so someone else who is just kind of upset about doing the job.
Yeah, that's why I've got a
just
homies
not
only
right.
policy. That's why I've got a homies only policy.
Right. I'm pretty sure it was a smaller quick tattoo on her part.
Still, that's just sad.
But still, like she was talking about how uncomfortable an experience that was for, you
No,
know, and I could imagine that's like literally the last thing I could imagine going in for a tattoo that you really care about, and you go in there and first off, the artist you thought's not going to do it, and then second off, like they're not the other person who's doing it is kind of unhappy about it because the other artist like threw that person under the bus, and like what are you supposed to do as a client, you know, especially if you know you're already kind of intimidated by these people in the first place.
That's a little different. If you walked into the shop that morning and said, "Hi, I have this tattoo. Can anybody do it?"
But no, you had an appointment.
But if you had an appointment and you had a dedicated artist and somebody already agreed to your project.
Okay. So on the flip side, I worked at a shop one time early in my career. There was an artist who worked there who famously stood up his clients like all the time. So it became regular practice, like, hey, such and such didn't show up, but such and such is here and he can do it for you. And, you know, when it's basic, you know, everyday tattoo, they both tattooed in very similar styles, similar quality. So like most of the time you end up better off if you got stood up. I almost said his name. If you got stood up by this artist. I try so hard not to bash anybody like deliberately. I try to keep it like ambiguous and vague, but that was a situation where like the collectors were probably getting in the better end of the deal because they were lucky enough to get in with the other artist when their guy stood him up. And sometimes like, I mean, what do you do in situations like that? If I were the shop owner, I would have fired the guy. I wouldn't tolerate that with somebody working for me. But like, you know, as like the shop owner in that situation, what do you do to make it right? Is that what happened with Emily?
I think that happened with her.
Yeah. Like so-and-so just flaked and somebody else was available.
I think you should at least have the option. Like, may I please see the artist who is now going to be working on me's portfolio? Can I at least get a glimpse of what's about to happen? Because I think that to just be traded off like that with no choices.
It's a small town though. So in the small town, like, you know, the 7 artists.
I'm just saying.
You know what I mean?
As long as it's not the apprentice just off the block that has made 6 color tattoos in his career, and you went in for, you know,
No, this would be an equal quality trade-off, but much better character.
I just
Much better character.
feel like there should have been a lot more choices involved in these kind of situations. Do you
Well,
want to do this? Here's a
Fortunately or
sampling of the world.
unfortunately, I was always booked out weeks at a time, so I couldn't accommodate the. Occasionally, I would. If I had the time, I would take his people that he flaked on.
Man,
But like, I was always booked out.
sounds like a chore.
I
feel like if there's
actually, I'd
if
always
there's
be working
clear-
and having somebody waiting. At
If
the
there's
same
clear
time.
communication about some sort of like, I can't do this tattoo, would you like this other person who's very good at doing this tattoo to do this, or
Yeah.
something's happening like that, and there's
Yeah.
just clear communication. You know, we don't
Instead
aim
of
for
not
trading
yeah.
tattoos off by any means, but
Yeah.
like if that was to happen ever, like if you really talk to a person, it'll probably be okay. But you know, to be uncomfortable
The
while
approach.
you're sitting there through a whole tattoo, uncomfortable because you know the person doing it
And you're
is
telling me-
already upset.
Yeah.
This guy walked
I can
up
only
to
imagine
somebody
that
laying
feeling.
a stencil,
And that's terrible. That's the last thing I would ever do for anybody.
and said somebody else should do this tattoo. That blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like, that's
But again,
Brazen.
but again, but for collectors like us, like Fawn, me, Forrest, and that wouldn't happen to us. We just wouldn't get our tattoo.
Right. I would just leave.
We wouldn't settle. I mean, well, they're
No.
not there. Well, I guess we reschedule.
hmm
That would be us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah. At this point, at this point, with all of our tattoo collections and everything, you know, when you're really young and it's your first steps into the tattoo world, getting your first tattoos, you know, you don't really know what to expect from an artist. You know, is this normal? Okay, this is something that happens. You know, you
Right.
don't know it's different. You don't know there's people that would never treat you like that. You just think
Yep.
that's what tattooing is.
It's normal.
Yeah, they
So
would. Yeah,
that's why we're
that.
here with this podcast, and that's why we're here to, you know, tell
Yeah.
people what's up. You know, you don't have to settle for anything. Like literally, this is your body. You can do whatever you want. Put your trust in a good artist, but like, fuck, be
your
super
homework.
picky about that
Do your
artist. Be
homework.
super picky about their attitude and things.
Yeah.
You know, like if someone's gonna treat you with disrespect, they're probably not a great artist, because it does take a lot of self-discipline and respect just to like become, you know, really good at your art and to have those, you know, have a lot of clients and stuff. You'd think a lot of tattoo artists that actually like are really, really good at tattooing would be like really big headed and really shitty people. But I find more than less that they're actually really awesome people.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah.
there's a few bad apples out there.
Yeah,
But I find more
it's
than
just sad
more
that
than
that's
not.
someone's introduction to tattooing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, at least sour taste.
Mhm.
That's-
Here's your first round. Let's shift you around.
Yeah, Emily's got such awesome pieces we're working on
Aw.
too. Oh, broke.
Bum, bum,
Did you see the
ba-da.
huge thigh piece?
I did not.
That we got her entire thigh. It's turning into like a crystal, basically.
Nice.
Right? Like you know what an agate is?
No.
You ever seen like the slices of rock? Like they're sliced. It looks like almost just like glass slice,
Mhm.
and there's tons of
Yep.
layers to the center,
Mhm.
and there's a bunch of colors in between those layers. That's basically your whole legs like that. And
Oh,
then
I
there's
did see
different
that.
areas that kind of got carved out gems.
I did see that.
We're gonna work on that on Monday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Insane.
get another
Oh,
day.
nice.
As soon as we get back from our West Virginia trip, right after this today, me and Emily are leaving for West Virginia. It's my birthday Saturday.
So
Happy
last
birthday.
week,
Thank you.
Last
We got a
week after
pontoon boat on some
podcast.
random lake out in West Virginia all day.
Jordan was casually like, "So what are you doing the rest of today?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "You wanna take your van and help me buy a kayak?"
Yep. That was for this trip and for having that. I put a kayak racks on Emily's car the other day, so now she's got some racks up
Getting
there.
it done.
Yeah, we going kayaking all the time. I'm like,
Holler.
we're making something awesome to do a lot.
Well,
I
let
like
me
I
know.
like just being able to quickly get up and go.
Yeah.
Yak.
I got boats.
Yeah. You
Holla.
got your yaks?
Holla.
Yeah.
Truck it.
Yeah. We're trying
the
to,
way.
I'm gonna get this Jeep started again, bring it in somewhere, have it fixed. And then I'm going to use that so I have two vehicles with
Nice.
kayak racks, so we can like go downriver and
Nice.
shit like that and have one.
Good thinking.
Park it, drop it.
Good
That's
thinking.
the best.
Mhm.
That's the best.
Yeah. Thanks.
There's a
Thanks
lot of-
Emily for that idea. I didn't even think about it
Yeah.
like that.
There's
She was like, you
actually
should get
a-
the Jeep fixed. I was like,
There's a
That's why I
park
love you.
right down near us that has a entrance and an exit specifically designed for that.
yeah.
It's a very short trip. It's free. But if you've got the means to do it, you can do it a couple times in a day. It doesn't matter. Like, but it's a pretty good, easy yak spot.
Yeah. That's awesome. I don't really know any good places to put in.
We can also show you a lot of there's actually a lot of places to drop in, like within a half hour of here.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
go north of Columbus, there's all these little
yeah.
reservoirs up by like New Albany, up that way.
Yeah.
I'm
and you
literally
can just
gonna
like
write
drop
them
in,
all down
like,
and start checking them
Sunday.
off.
It's technically a river, but
Kayak
because
in
it's a
summer.
reservoir, you don't even really feel the current, and you can just it's like being on a little lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
But you
Oof.
can like drop in,
Love it.
noodle around, and pull
I-
right back out in the same
I go to
spot.
Twin Bridges at Hoover all the time.
The Hoover
It's
areas.
just like this little off pool of Hoover. It's got a couple little.
Is that the one
pull-off
that's got the
spots.
trees that you can yak through?
yeah.
That's where I want to go
Yeah,
again this summer.
Bridges.
Twin
There's a little
Bridges.
island. I would
Wait,
recommend
is that where
getting
the
on it,
water gets
but-
high through
This
the
is the
trees?
place I was telling you.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted to get the directions for. Yes,
Okay.
that's the same one.
It's
Ben
Googleable.
knows the spot.
Googleable.
It is Googleable.
You can see it on Google Maps. Just like zoom right in. It's like, oh,
Okay.
that's where we dropped in. That's the one.
Okay.
Because there's a couple different spots on the same like reservoir that you can jump in and noodle around. But Twin Bridges is the one because
Mhm.
there were 2 bridges.
Twins. Well,
Um,
it's also a spot to specifically put in kayaks. So they've got all the correct
yeah.
pavement and
Mhm.
parking, and
Make it easy.
you can
Very
punch
easy.
it in on a
Nice
map
and easy.
meet people there. It's not like some secret
Meat,
random
meat
location.
people.
You know how like
Yeah, there's like a little
Meat
parking lot.
People made of meat.
not well, no. I mean, yes. That's a weird question, Jordan.
I was hoping for meat people.
I mean, all people are really meat people if
Yeah,
we think
under
about
the-
it.
I'm all right
Under
with
the
meat.
flesh.
I'm okay with meeting people, I guess.
Okay.
I was hoping for meat
What's the
people.
opposite of a meat person? An entity?
A vegetable.
believe
A
that would be a
vegetable.
correct
A
answer.
vegetable person.
Hold on. Are we talking about a meat person or an ether person?
This got real
An
confusing.
etherman.
Real fast. I'm gonna throw it out there.
I call them Etherman.
You guys might not need to smoke anymore already.
You ain't never seen a ghost.
No,
Etherman.
no, we're not gonna go that.
It sounds like nope, not doing it.
So Ben,
just waiting
do
for-
we? Oh, go ahead, Todd.
Oh, I'm just waiting for the UFO report to come out.
Oh, I think we're all waiting
I know.
for that one.
I pay attention. I've been watching so many videos. I've been going down the rabbit hole lately. I'm ready.
I'm ready
I'm
for
just
it.
stoked. I'm stoked that there's solid coverage. They got a task force out there working on it. By the 25th, the Pentagon is deadline for their report to have like their little task force they have that is doing all the research on it. By the 25th is the day that they actually like it has to be done. And
Ben,
there's a lot of information
we were
that they've
Freemasons, we'd
already
already
said
know.
is going to be classified. They're not going to say it, but there's a lot that they are going to release.
I'm on board.
So
I'm gonna have to have you read the report to me because
I don't. I hope it's something that we can read.
I just want to hear it in your silky smooth announcer voice.
Yeah. I'll make sure to read it to you slow.
Thank you. I
Real
comprehend.
nice and slow.
Perfect.
Well, what I'm hoping is that that's not the best video we've seen so far. That they actually got better video that they're gonna release.
Yeah, no
That's
kidding.
what I'm hoping.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm really hoping for that too.
I feel that's
Maybe
always the
some good,
play.
some good video that just hasn't been shown.
Yeah, the things they're showing you are the fringe. It's the way it always works.
Mhm.
that's the word.
'Cause, like, you know,
that's the tip of the
Yeah.
iceberg.
I mean, you heard about the way the Navy pilots were seeing it. Like there were a lot of them that over restricted airspace right off of right off the East Coast. They were seeing them every single day for over a year.
Why? What could they be up to?
Right. What the fuck is it? Is it another country? It's got some crazy tech, or is it something crazier?
I'm gonna get some
I-
Definitely hoping for something crazier.
What was
But
the,
you gotta
Me too.
be like, I guess, somewhat skeptical about
so
it.
what was the
but, like,
Battle of Los Angeles
I'll take
about?
some more. Cool. Thank you.
Wasn't there like a recorded thing where like we fought like spaceships over LA?
Yeah, there was that. There was like pictures of one being over LA where they were shooting at it and
Like,
stuff.
that
I don't
was
know
like
if
a
it. I don't know if it
45-minute
was shooting back
encounter.
or what.
Well, it didn't have to shoot back. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have to.
Yeah, it was like dip, dodge, dive, and dodge.
Mhm.
And go
Then you
fuck
heard
out there.
heard of the Phoenix Lights, right? Phoenix
me.
Lights was a giant mile-long UFO that went over Phoenix, and over 1 million people seen it. Like
Yeah.
everybody in Phoenix seen it. The governor of Phoenix seen it. They watched it. There's video of it. Like the governor talks about it openly.
I was that not
We all seen it. We all went to the highest point that we could see it, and it went over, and we watched it. While it
So why
slowly
is
went
there
over.
still a debate? I'm just curious.
There's no debate anymore. They're out
Yeah.
there. The debate is what is it?
Have you seen
What are they?
Wondering.
The
yeah.
Skinwalker Ranch stuff and all the interactions through the mountains out there and all that stuff.
I've heard of stuff
Yeah.
about
You guys,
it.
I was reading about something that the Soviets found in a lake, a really super deep lake in Russia that scared the shit out of me.
Whoa.
Oh, is that
Hit
that lake
me.
Bukaki or
Yeah, with like humanoid creatures under the water that
Yeah.
ended up they were saying it killed several
Where-
people. when
right,
they
and-
tried to
I was reading that too.
capture one. Yeah, and then about like an encounter underwater of like a submarine as well over there.
It's the deepest lake in the world. It contains as much water as all of our Great Lakes, and it's fresh water. And so like they still explore it and all that.
I want to go. Who got
forgot-
scuba gear?
I forgot the name. Is Emily out there?
Yeah.
Emily, what's the name of that lake? Lake Bukayo. I think it is. We were just looking it up. Me and Emily were just
That's-
talking about it.
that's
She's
nuts.
got a ring on her finger.
So you're
that's
telling
from a
me,
stone from
like Waterworld style, these mofos got gills and they're just down there.
it's like it's almost a 2,000-foot deep lake, and like
Yeah, they were calling them humanoids.
humanoids, so kind of like
Humanoids.
humans.
so it's
Yeah.
an actual thing that actually they went. I
So
don't know. I don't
Waterworld's
know
real.
about. I don't know. Like I
This
would.
starts
I would.
making- this is making me want to talk about Hollow Earth.
I would love to subscribe to them
man.
going
This is
down there and doing all
getting
that, but there's, I mean, from like what I was reading, there was actual like real government reports and stuff of like them going down there and there being like a lot of different things happening. What
Huh.
exactly they seen, I don't remember the details of it, but what Lauren was just saying, I think is
All right.
what most of it was
All
saying.
right. Some like
We got
dive gear
aliens
is
in the
not that
water,
expensive, guys.
but going 1,200 feet with dive gear, now that is like a whole.
Yes.
Just to go 120 feet, it's
Yeah,
gonna
that hurts.
cost you about $3,000 there, buddy.
Yeah. 1,200. I want to see. You know how they like drop cameras and like microphones, and can we just mess with them a little bit and see what happens?
Right.
I don't know. Have you seen some of the stuff they're doing
They
with
go
the
in and out of the water.
like the basically their little underwater drones, the little unmanned deep
Let's go
diving
poke the bear.
apparatuses.
It's all I'm saying.
That's I want to poke the bear.
I
too.
mean, I kind of feel like a lot of the
I
UFO
think we-
sightings are them just dropping
I
their
think
little
they gotta
drones
be-
down to check us out.
I'm
Like,
gonna be one of those guys that say we gotta approach him nicely. I just think as soon as like anyone who is seeing him out there starts acknowledging that it's actually there and does what it can to interact with it, like if a jet's seeing it, like try to catch up with it, see what it's doing.
Send
Don't
him a-
come at it hostile. Like come at it like, what are you? Let me see. Maybe it will like come at you with some better intent, or
Send 'em
not
down
just
a
like
little
speed
capsule of
away.
weed.
so you know the difference between a dog that approaches you with its tail wagging and a dog that approaches you snarling.
It's all
what
about
we're
your intent
saying
walking up
is
to
let's
it.
just keep that tail wagging. Like stay chill. Be like, what up, stranger? I'm not gonna bite you.
That first
Don't bite me
impression,
back.
all about the approach.
Yeah.
All about
Yeah.
the approach.
If-
How you
if-
gonna, how you
Unfortunately,
gonna,
it sounds
how you
like
gonna
we've already
reach out
tried
your
to kill
hand?
them.
Are you gonna reach out your hand with the guns blazing in the jet fighters, or
No,
are you
but I
gonna,
got
like-
one tucked. No, I'm just kidding.
they're like, "Yo, what you guys doing up there? You need some gas?" Like,
What up? Send you down a weed bubble.
yeah. Hopefully they're like, "Yeah, gas." I'm like, hope you mean weed.
Yeah,
if it
but
got to the day where like if we saw one, we could just be like, hey, what's up? Come on. I'll show
If
you
I was an
around.
alien with a
Meet
spaceship,
the fam.
and my spaceship
Meet
could
the
go
fam.
in and out
This
of
is a
like the
dog.
water and space or in the sky, I would definitely be looking for like interplanetary weed, like different plants from different planets.
They
That
say-
like
Oh, yeah.
indigenous plants that could do different things.
They say that THC molecules will come on asteroids.
Oh, this Mars Kush is the best.
Mars
man.
They
Kush,
wait a
man.
second. They say that THC molecules come from asteroids.
There
Oh, yeah,
has
they've
been
definitely found
THC
THC molecules on asteroids.
What?
Yeah,
do
that's
you
real
mean?
life.
Weeds
THC
in
molecules
space, bro. You
How?
didn't
on
know that?
asteroids.
I don't know about
That-
You
It's-
didn't know that?
It's-
You
it's the
fucking
gift of
idiot.
the
That's like the
universe.
link, man.
Dude, that's like the
why
first
we
step in smoking
smoke.
weed is understanding it came from
God,
space.
intergalactic planetary, bro. Yeah.
Wait, really though?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, wait, how do you know? What do you mean?
I mean,
What do you mean?
at this point,
This
this
is a
is
lot-
common knowledge. I don't know a reference point at this.
They have
point.
found
That's
like
a bold ass
like
claim,
on-
though.
Somebody got
asteroids and
Google, I
meteorites.
mean-
They
No,
found
I'm the
THC
furthest from it.
molecules.
It's okay.
Just like
It's
they
okay.
find,
It's okay. It's
just like
okay.
they find other
I'm gonna-
elements and minerals, they found THC molecules
like-
on little meteorites and asteroids. Like it exists. It's real life.
Like
There is
it
weed in
exists.
space.
Weed.
It isn't. I don't know. It doesn't really register. I hope so.
Can we
No, this is
smoke
real.
that
And
rock?
like it made scientists scratch their head like, wow, there's THC in space.
That's
This
like
is
saying,
not-
Let's call
we
it a gift
found-
from the gods.
We found life.
There you go.
We found
Mhm.
life in
A gift
space,
from
and it's
the
weed.
gods.
absolutely.
That's what this says to me.
Could you imagine if weed was the thing that connected everything?
Dun, dun, dun.
What?
Here, I just
It's
been
just getting
hot fucking
blasted
around
to
this whole
planets.
time.
Like that's
The real
that.
drug.
That is a way I'd love to see it. I'll tell you what.
We're dorks.
I'm just like really. What about you, Forrest? Have you heard that before? Does that sound legit?
I don't know if I believe it or not. That sounds a little woo.
It's real life. This is like high school biology.
This
This is,
is
I'm not
like-
even
this
making
is
it
real
up.
life.
This is like
I
fail
not
bio.
even repet.
Sorry.
This is like
It sounds like the end of Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke.
I'm just saying, I'm the
Like it.
furthest
it's
from
from
the
planet
computer.
Labrador.
Yeah,
Man.
smoking the van.
This is Labrador OG.
OG, slap OG on it.
It's like,
Interplanetary,
yup.
interplanetary
Ooh.
Labrador.
Paying attention to the
What would-
alien.
How
You know
would
what
you
I
classify Mars weed?
Mars weed, non-existent.
You know,
Yeah.
If it was
Hmm.
existent, I don't know. The first one would be Mars OG, Ocean Mars.
Martian Doja.
There's no ocean on Mars, so it'd be like DOC, the dried ocean.
dried out dank. DDs.
Oh, you know what I'm stoked about though? The fucking right before we get off the alien subject, like just the fact that like the government's saying that like, oh yeah, there's UAPs now. Like who cares? They don't have to call them UFOs. They call them UAPs. It validates so many people, especially like my own stories. And I don't need no fucking validation from anyone. I know what I saw. I don't care if anyone believes me or not. I'm not going to sit and beg anyone to like listen to my stories.
It's like when you've been
at the
gaslighted
same
your
ti-
entire life and finally you realize it.
Yeah, right. It's just like, just being like, yeah, exactly. By the fucking government. It just, that part feels good. But it also like, it's just like, yeah, I was already ready for that. I'm just a matter of just waiting for you guys. But yeah, that's where I'll land on that.
Definitely good
It's
there.
nice when
I'm
somebody
just stoked
agrees
about
with
that.
that.
Right.
What else is going on in current events?
UFOs?
Besides
Oh,
UFOs.
UAPs?
Does anybody know?
Should have said that from the start.
We've talked NFTs, UFOs. Any other 3-letter things we need to talk about?
3-letter things.
3-letter, weird, unusual.
Bio. I can always talk about
We
bio.
always
I mean,
talk about bio.
That is tattoo related.
It is.
I got a bio appointment coming up at the end of the month. I'm going to see Ty in 2 days.
Nice. What are you
Nice.
getting done?
Holla.
Finishing my foot, and we're gonna start the other rib panel on the other side.
Oh, that's gonna match
Sir.
beautifully.
You, sir, are bold. I'm just saying. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a lot
gonna
of
be
work
that's-
going on at once. It's a lot of work going on at once. That's impressive, bud. That's
like
impressive.
all the appointments from like last year pretty much like catching up with me all at once. So it's gonna be like a crazy couple months of just getting my shit drilled, but it's sitting pretty good after that.
I'm gonna suggest a multivitamin, sir.
Yep. Stay up on your multivitamins. Stay hydrated.
That's
Are you
what's
trying to keep your appointments about a month apart?
Ben.
Yeah, they're like
Good.
kind of working out perfectly that way.
Good.
Russ just happened to be booked June, so I already had that appointment with Ty anyways, and he was open end of July. So I'll probably go down to Atlanta for a while, and then I'll probably line one up like a month after that with like Mike Cole to do the ribs too. So yeah, they'll probably all be like a month all the way through like August or September, I'd say. So definitely.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm excited you're getting worked on by Mike Cole.
Yeah. me too.
I still want him to finish my torso. I
I
haven't
love
reached
my- I
out
love
about
Mike's
it yet.
work.
Oh, nice.
Join Derb and I in our race to finish our bodysuits. I feel like the way you're booked out, you might be close.
You got a whole leg.
Yeah, you guys covered some
left to
ground
go,
in
right?
this last one.
Yeah, I have a decent amount of space. I have my whole arm open, my neck, my hand, my back, and a lot of my leg. Yeah, and like even like I don't know, I feel like the ribs and back and like sleeve, like I feel like all that stuff will take a pretty long time. Like I don't know,
Well-
definitely a journey.
At that pace, bud, sounds like you'll catch up quick.
How old are you, Forrest?
I don't know. The people that I'm like trying to book with are definitely like I said, I'd wait like over a year with Russ and stuff like that. And like I'm gonna try to line up like probably more collabs in the future too. And those are like I've gotten lucky in the past with like Brian and Josh being cool with each other and being able to book it pretty easily. But I know like other times I'll probably have to wait like pretty decent stretches. So I think it'll be a while, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you have the perfect mindset for acquiring this level of collection that you want, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I
it's
completely
really cool
agree.
to hear somebody that's just like, nope, I've got a plan. I'm sticking to it. It's what I want. And this is going to be perfect when it's done and everything I want it to be. So I admire it.
There's definitely always temptation and stuff, and like my like interests and stuff change. But that's like I've tried to always keep an open mind to that. Like that's why I want to like save my back for last, like the biggest like epic finish. Like I had all that time to like think about it and see how my interests will like grow over time. I don't know, it might be a little more limited in space, like doing the rib panels and stuff like that. But like after seeing how like Russ kind of incorporated like the rib panel into like the front piece, like I'm pretty confident that it'll be like a cohesive flow anyways. So it won't feel like a skinny back piece.
You
like,
have your whole arm there from your shoulder open.
yeah, I'll just take my shirt off.
Show
Yep.
us.
Take it off.
Yeah, so I got like a decent amount of like open space up here.
Yeah, that'll make it really nice just to work right into that.
Stuff like that. There's the old
Look at how good that looks, and that's
Oh,
only a
that's
week
amazing.
healed.
Wow.
That's
Russ's work
amazing.
always healed great on me.
on the hip and stuff.
Mm.
Wow, that's sweet.
Like, yeah, it's like so clean.
Ouch.
And it was like, I don't know, we've done like 3 days technically. The first one was like a lot of drawing. It's like obviously with like the scroll work and stuff, it had to be like fit the body with like the armpit and stuff. Cause there's a lot of like trouble areas right there too, like with like just stretch marks from like losing weight and stuff like that. So we couldn't really throw like the geometric pattern into that. And he was like really vocal about this like through the consultation and like the process of drawing it and stuff like that, like when we met up. So yeah, the first day was like a lot of like marker drawings and stuff like that. Like I sent you the picture of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we only got like, I forget how many hours that first day, like 4 or 5, something like that. No, it might've been like 5 or 6, but then we did like 2 more days. So it's like, it seems like slow and tedious because it is like real intricate and exact, like, especially like I said, with the, how troubling the area is with like the shitty skin of the ribs, the stretch marks.
Yeah.
But he's like it's crazy how much, it's weird. It's like slow and tedious, but crazy how much we've done already. Like,
I love the way it curves off of your armpit there.
Like
Like that.
color already.
I do remember Russ is incredibly thorough. There are times where he would be like coloring and coloring and coloring, and I'd be like, I know that has to be colored in already. I know it has to be colored in already.
Yeah.
Like, and then I'd look in the mirror and like where it felt like he was in just one tiny area forever. It's like he was just moving so slowly across. It just felt like he stayed in the same exact spot. But he's so thorough, like
For sure. It's been like perfectly too. Like it's I know it's kind of because like the small sections and stuff like that in there. I don't know if that has a part to do with like the healing of it, because it's, I guess, technically like healing a bunch of tiny tattoos rather than like giant open like straight flesh. Like it's kind of, but at the same time it's like really slow like that, like going on those long stretches. I remember going to like check in the mirror, like, oh man, we've got to be like halfway done. Like, down I look, it's like a quarter, like the whole back is still open, and I was like, holy shit. That's, I think we've talked about in the past, and you kind of mentioned on here that like the second day is usually pretty efficient and stuff like that. Like, it actually wasn't really too bad of a sit through. Like, Russ is such a cool, like, down to earth dude. And, like, the shop is awesome. Everyone there is super cool at Ink and Dagger. And I feel like that makes a huge difference with sitting for a tattoo. Like just being able to get your mind off it and like just kind of enjoy the experience, like goes a long way for like longevity and being able to sit.
Right, and being immersed in a nice place while you're getting tattooed.
Oh yeah,
you actually feel comfortable.
Yeah, like none of those stresses we were talking about before with like shitty clients and like artists being weird or like I don't know, just stuff like that. I don't know, if you're just completely at ease, getting tattooed, having a good time, like definitely makes 2 days on the ribs a lot fucking easier.
Yeah. I can't imagine. No, thank you.
No, Russ, for that, the whole vibe of Ink and Dagger is just great. It's a great chemistry of like artists and people. As a tattooer, it's really nice for me to like see it's just such a well-oiled machine. You know what I mean? Where like Red Tree is a well-oiled machine, but we're each independent. It's like there's Red Tree, and then each one of us is we're our own fruit. We do what we want.
Right.
Like, we organize our own things. We handle our own clients. But at Ink and Dagger, Russ has an incredible like crew of like shop managers. They are so awesome. And the way that they keep that shop running like a well-oiled machine, like it is so smooth, and like the artists don't have a ton of like back and forth with clients. Like the managers really deal with a lot, and it makes the atmosphere so carefree. Like everybody's incredibly focused and in the zone all the time, but like everybody's attitudes are just so good and carefree, and everybody's always excited about what they're doing.
Right.
And you know, it's another studio where like every artist there is cream of the crop or well on their way. Like it's a shop of growing artists, but there's just so much talent under one roof that like every artist you walk past is going to be just as good as the one before, but doing something totally different.
That's one of my favorite thing about working at Red
It's
Tree.
such a great team.
Is just, you know, working around other inspiring artists, you know,
Thank
other artists who are just killing it. And also like, I love that it's like different styles. I see something totally
Right.
different, you know, with every artist working on different things. So I feel like I pick up on so many different things, or, you know, just like the, you know, step back. I'm like, oh, I see how you did that. Like I would have done that a little bit different, but like, you're not doing it like any worse or anything. It's just
Right.
like, holy shit, like you're awesome. Like that looks more efficient than the way I'm doing it. I
Well,
might, you know,
and
take
next
some,
time it might apply
pointers
to what
from
you're
that.
doing.
right.
Yeah, both of the shops definitely.
And it always does. Every time I have a conversation with an artist about what they're doing, and I'm like any sort of technique or anything, especially, you know, being right there, like looking at Keith's work or looking at Brandon as he's packing color in there, and just being like, oh, you know, that's how you do that. Like
Okay.
every time I tattoo, it's,
Right.
you know, I remember.
What were you going to say, Forrest?
I was just gonna say that like both shops seem like a really good vibe, and like I feel like it's super valuable to like work at a place like that where everyone's like trying to learn and bounce ideas off each other. Like,
Mm-hmm.
'cause, I mean, not every shop's like that, and like just be able to be in a place where you can grow professionally, like with the homies, just tattooing every day is pretty cool.
You mentioned it earlier, but Russ spends a ton of his time and energy running Tattoo Smart. So one of the cool things about Ink and Dagger in particular is you've got this great group of artists, but they get to try out all of these tools first. You know, you get to
Nice.
see like the experimental phases of things. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool to see like all the projects, like each project with inside like all the different brush sets. And
Yeah, that was actually a really cool part about the design of mine. He showed me the Procreate video, like the whole design process basically. And he tested out like a new brush set that he was putting out with an artist, Brad. Might have his Instagram up. No, sorry, I closed
Whoop.
it. But he was the one who did like cyber fluidics as well.
Yeah. Wooten.
Yeah.
Bradley Wooten.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like a cool new set with like geometric patterns that I guess Russ like sought him out to do because it was stuff that he knew he liked working with. So this project is kind of like the timing of that lined up perfectly. And even while I was there too, I saw other artists like using like the Tattoo Smart like Procreate tools, and it was cool because then like they could take like videos of like them creating it and then like the tattoo itself also, and like I don't know, just to see that whole process, be able to like capture it, and like they're the ones who are creating these tools for tattooing. It was super cool to see. But yeah, then he was using this new brush set on mine. It was cool to see him like switch through all these patterns. He was saying that he spent like probably an hour or two like just messing with all these new patterns that he was testing out with the brush set. And then like once he found the one he liked, it was basically like 10 minutes of like manipulating it with the brush with like the weight of it. Just because like that's how it's set up. Like the hand weight kind of changes the line weight as well.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, like I said, it's the same as like the Cyber Fluidics brush set. So if you know that one, like it's the same kind of like tools with it. But yeah, it was kind of sweet to see him like lay it all out, and then within like 10 minutes create the 3D effects just from, I don't know, being so familiar with the brush sets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kind of a master at it.
That's super cool.
it's cool to see how just quick the flow can be. And some people I think disregard digital art as a tool. Like I say all the time, like I need like my finished art. It's got to be like a painting. It's got to be like something tangible, tactile. Like for me, sometimes digital art is a step on the way to that finished product.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'll noodle around and Procreate before I actually do my painting, or before I actually like do the freehand tattoo, like I have a mock-up in Procreate that I'm then like doing the freehand off of, you know, so I use it as a tool and it's really, really valuable. But I think there are still a lot of artists who don't see how valuable of a tool it is. You know, like, yes, I can do all these things by hand. I can draw all this sacred geometry with a protractor and a ruler. Like, I can sit down and do that. And I know I can do that. So since I already know that, why don't I just use this tool that will save
Right.
me
Yeah,
4
it'll-
hours?
Yeah.
Right.
Take
You know
your
what I
work-
mean?
It'll take your work. It can take your work to the next level. I think there's still a level of like originality when you're copying them from like just like exactly what they are. But when it comes to a lot of pattern work and a lot of different things like that, there's a lot of great resources on Tattoo Smart that I use for a lot of things, but I try not to stay
Well,
like
there's even like a different
100. I use them. I use
sets.
them as like reference. It's like great reference material.
I
Basically,
use from one of the old one of the original like Japanese brush sets. There are some like stamps that are like cherry blossoms and plum blossoms and leaves, but they're already like folding and flipping and turning in the wind.
I like.
Can I
Killian
draw
Moon's.
those freehand? Absolutely. Did I just save 10 minutes on each flower by using this quick stencil, and then I'm still going to tattoo it the way I would have drawn it? Like, I'm just, you know, when I'm just roughly mocking things
The
up. Like,
application of the tattoo still has to is still the main
it's
part
just
of
a
the
tool that
process.
saves me
Like,
some time. Like, it could I draw it freehand? Absolutely.
Mhm.
But do I want to save a little bit of time so I can concentrate more on the landscape and like the focal point of the tattoo? Like, if this is just one element, let's save time there and do the rest freehand.
See,
Um,
Megan works like that though. She'll make it all digital, work in whatever she works in, and then we'll draw it on.
I think it just
Right.
fits better when I can do it that way. Like, here's the plan, here's the roadmap. Sometimes I'll stencil it out depending on where it is on the body. Sometimes it's just quicker to draw it, you know. Sometimes it's just quicker to put the few things in there that I need and then to work off of that picture that's beside it. If I were drawing a portrait on a piece of paper with a piece of charcoal, how would I do it? That's how I would do it. I would just get a little bit of reference in there lightly with some vine charcoal, super light, and I would just look at my photo reference and I would just make it happen. So to me, it's very easy to tattoo that way. Like, I need only a little bit of information on the skin before I get started. 9 times out of 10, I'll get like what I need in the first 10 minutes, but I kind of got to keep drawing so my client can see my brainstorm and like
Right.
I can make sure that they like it. But in reality, usually like
Enough to communicate.
I'll lay out like vertical and horizontal grid in yellow. And then I like draw my daydream off of that and whatever the lightest color is. In reality, I could start tattooing then. Like, I'm ready to go.
Right.
But I need to make sure my client and I are on the same page. So I got to push it through a little bit further. That way they can be like, yes, that's exactly what I'm imagining. Or like, that's more than I was imagining. Or this is cool, but what if we change this element to this? So
Right.
there's that where like sometimes they look at it and then more ideas happen. So that's kind of a
Wiggle
fun
room.
magic thing.
Yeah.
But usually I'm ready to go in the first 10 or 15 minutes of drawing. But I gotta get further along to make sure my client and I are on the same page.
Yeah.
Understand what I'm about to do, right?
When I'm drawing stuff on, I kind of float back and forth. I like to go as simple as I can to get the idea that basically everything you're just saying. I try to keep it simple or enough detail to where I know where I'm going to get into. Like, let's say I'm going to draw a bio sleeve. Like, I want to get some textures on there. I want to see what textures I'm going with. I don't need to fully texturize and get into every little nitpick detail, but I kind of want to have a little bit of a direction and a bit of like shade and stuff on there, but also just enough to communicate it to the client and just enough to communicate it in my brain. Like, okay, cool. Well, now I know right away. I don't even have to have any thinking room for it later, but I try to float between this level of like not over detailing and getting through my drawing process as quick as possible while still getting all the detail that I want to see in there.
So many of my tattoos were, this is the tattoo you're getting. It'll be done when you leave. So now working on a lot larger projects and stuff like that,
Mhm.
it's really cool to have that freedom to have
Your
that.
your project is actually a really good example of like our first day. Like I kind of did a marker drawing of one panel, but like our idea was like, I'm going to combine that painting, and that painting. And you were like, sold. Can we put a hammock in there? And I was like, yes.
Done. I have one simple request. No, yeah, that's how I like to work. It makes it simple. I want everybody pumped on what we're doing.
But yeah, the goal is like a combination of 3 of my own paintings that are hanging in my tattoo space. So it's like, even though that's very vague and ambiguous as far as like a roadmap, it's specific enough that like, oh, it's going to turn out like a combination of these things. But like, if you weren't somebody that saw me regularly or saw how these things came together, or
Right.
I mean,
Might be difficult to explain.
you used to kind of fangirl when I make a new painting.
Yeah, I do.
You fangirled over Jordan's new
I
painting
like-
today too.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
Do you see that fucking thing?
Yeah,
Thanks,
it
buddy.
is. It's absolutely beautiful.
I
just
fangirl
love
on
it.
all art because it's like I cannot, like, I've tried. It's not my gig. And when to see anybody that has the patience, time, and skill and effort that they put into creating something like that, it still just blows my mind. Yeah.
I love it. I love that you get excited.
Ben.
Like,
It's cool. It's cool to see. I get pumped.
we're around it all the time. So
Yeah.
like even when
helps that
artists
my,
get pumped on things,
perception's
it's even more when somebody's that isn't an artist is like, I don't even know how or why or what you did, or I don't care what you made it out of, but
Yeah.
I love it. Like
Paintings
where
and stuff like
artist
that are-
eyes, we're like, yeah, it's like, it's good. I like this thing that you did there. It was really nice. That change that you made halfway through. But when you're just a viewer and you're not like
Mm-hmm.
tearing it apart for the constructive criticism, like it's just like, I love this
It
thing
just like,
because
is
it exists.
just is what it is. Yeah.
yeah,
This
I love
Manus
it.
has been
If
staring.
you
at
don't
me
see the
whole
brush
time.
strokes, all the little things it took to get
What
there.
should his name
that.
be? Does he have a name yet, Jordan?
Uh-uh.
I think his name is Jordan. It says it on the
I'll
bottom.
have to think on it. His name's Jordan. It's me.
It's me. No, this thing got me, man. It's nice.
That was my larval form.
I look at art just like as somebody that's playing a really skilled instrument. You hear what's coming out, but to try to dissect what they're actually doing, your brain just
Here,
doesn't
let me-
compute.
Oh, you're gonna screen share what we're staring at?
Oh yeah.
I thinned out acrylics or something like that and just got like a just like a grisalia or something on there first, just to like overwork myself, and then just like do it all grayscale or just like one color, and
It's
then I'd
funny
go through
when
and
you
start
have the
adding the
epiphany
reds.
that like, oh, I can just do it.
And then my other idea was like, if I do it on wet and wet on wet, if I'm still careful enough, like I could just mix everything right there.
Somebody's having fun out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You guys hear that?
Wow. I could just mix everything right on the canvas, and just honestly, with all the shades that I seen, and like there's detail, but it's almost like lack of detail as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly how I described it.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
So-
you got me.
I don't do a ton of realism, or I haven't done it in a long time, and so it felt nice doing a painting like this. Can't wait to do more.
My daughter asked me to draw an airplane on her back of her menu the other night at dinner. And
How'd it go?
the waitress made fun of me. She was like, I figured you could draw. I was like, you figured wrong. You judge me by how I look. Give me free dessert. I didn't get it, but it was worth a shot.
We need to make you a shirt to wear every day of the week
I'm
that
not
says,
a
I am
tattooer."
not a tattooer.
Don't ask.
Yeah, don't ask me about
What shop you work
tattoos.
at? I sell roofs. I'm in insurance restoration.
Do you need a new roof?
I
Downspout
will
chimney.
sell you a roof though, right there on the spot. I got a guy at the bank the other day. He was like, "So, speaking of, call me." No, it's almost awkward sometimes when people will be like halfway into talking to you, and then you're like, "Oh no, man! Like I don't tattoo," and they're like, "Oh." Well, like, who would you recommend? Tattoo.
They always think they hit the jackpot.
Yeah, they're like, oh, finally, some guy I talked to at the. Well, he does. No, not me, bud. I'm not your guy. I might know your guy.
Do you get that yet, Forrest?
Oh yeah, for sure, all the time.
Yeah.
Todd, do you get that?
Me too. They
All
can't-
the time, all the time.
Should we start a collector's webpage, the Not a Tattooer's collector's webpage, that we can just make business cards for? So when
I know
anytime
what
somebody
you should
asks
call
us,
it.
we can just make a list of references, and it just be like, hey, and we can all make these cards. We can link it to somewhere like the tattoopodcasting.com or something like that, and maybe make it like, here, I'm not your guy, but look up these guys.
It could be the non-tattooer collective.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying we need to join together. There's not that many of us.
That's one of my artists just to go with it, but I'm such a bad liar that I just would not be able to just pass it off.
See,
Just
I
to like
have
her.
the other
Oh
problem.
yeah, I'm a tattoo artist. Yeah, sure. Nice meeting you.
Right.
I wish I could be like, nah.
I don't want to do the script on your neck.
When somebody like, you do tats, I wish I could just poker face and be like,
Nope.
nah. But it's always like,
That's when you
are
just
you
lead
kidding?
with your
Why would you
hourly
even
price.
ask?
Yeah, sure. It's a $250 deposit.
Yeah.
Got a 6-month wait if you get through the gatekeeper.
You got a landscape on your neck. Sure, yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, sure.
Oh shit.
That's a good time. No, I think we should create a default place to go where there's
It's
a
actually
collection
a really good
of-
idea. We could give you all tattoo collecting podcast cards that
Cards.
have your name on it.
Make them
And it just sends
demographical so
everybody
everybody
to-
can use them. Be like, hey, if you're in, I'm sorry, did you say Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, I say boom. So here's a list of shops that might be able to handle your request in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
In Columbus, here's a list of shops that might be able to accommodate you. Because most people that are
idea.
asking where to get tattooed want a street shop level.
They're
I
gonna
want
want
to
to
go
walk
in and get a 1-day jammer, get something small and get out of there. And if you don't know where to start, having a list of reputable places is not maybe we could start selling it like Better Business Bureau and go to shops and like rate them.
the TCP
Like, you get a 2
approved
on our TCP fucking tattoo collecting
tattoo ratings,
shops.
tattoo shop ratings.
Not individuals.
No,
Or
it's
maybe
gotta
a-
be
like
collectors.
I went there and it smelled like beer and fucking piss. They get a 1.
But if that's what you're into,
Boom, go get a beer piss tattoo. I'm happy for you. Because there's a lot of not shops, there's tons of reputable shops, don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of poor choices as well.
Yeah, most people don't know where to look. It's kind of
Yeah,
hard.
and they see a sign that says tattoo and they're like, yay.
that is one of the things we kind of take for granted because like I said earlier, we eat, sleep, and breathe tattoos. Like
Immersed.
we forget that the general population
It's
that
not
isn't heavily
immersed.
covered, they really don't know where to start. But
Right.
that's I mean, that's the whole point to this. Like it's so hard sometimes when there's that like information gap where we know it inside and out and we just
Right.
forget that everybody, it's like with artists, like let's just set tattooing aside. With art in general,
Mhm.
if you're not an artist, you don't speak the language. So it's I mean, there's actually like a whole section of the vocabulary that's just for artists to
Right.
communicate with one another. And if you didn't grow up in that and you haven't taken the time to educate yourself in that, just like with music, if you haven't taken the time to learn how to like read music and communicate music, it makes it really hard to play music with other people and
Mhm.
understand and communicate back and forth. Where
Yeah.
was I going with that?
Randy, did rant? That's where you're going with it.
Don't know.
It's
And I
hard.
missed
It's
out on
hard to
everything
make.
you guys were
It's
talking
hard
about.
to
Those
make
are first.
recommendations. It
Yes.
really, really is because everybody's scope of what art is different. Everybody's idea of what
Oh.
their tattoo is
We
different.
lose track of everybody doesn't speak our language.
Boom.
So when we start talking tattooing, like there's a lot of resources online
Mhm.
for tattooers to learn how to tattoo, but there's really not a lot of good, credible resources on how to just start the conversation. Like, how do I even start looking? Do I just go to Yelp? I mean, that's not a bad place to start, but like if you're looking for a specific style, you might not find it that way.
Right.
You might find a 5-star rated shop, but they're not doing any of the style
Right.
that you're looking for.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I was
Hey,
very.
Vaughn, I know you guys are on Tattoo Cloud. Has your experience, like, have you gotten any feedback from that?
I don't think so. We actually just recently updated everything, but I don't think we've got any local feedback from it yet.
Okay, I was just curious because I saw you guys on there and it looked nice for your page and stuff.
Oh, thank you. Jules does all of that for us. We just shot her photos and she did the thing and updated everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thanks, Jules.
Yeah,
Good,
Jules
Jules.
is awesome. My tattoo cloud was active from like my previous shop still, so I had to change some things around. But there for a
Rewind.
while, I was in the habit of using it, and I don't know why I just kind of fell out of the
So
habit
for
of using
somebody
it.
that doesn't know what Tattoo Cloud is,
Tattoo Cloud is a tattoo specific, basically photo sharing platform.
Cool.
You can see, like, you see a map of, it's either the United States or the whole world, but there's all these little pins all over it. So you can go into different locations, or like when you click on the artist and check them out, or you're scrolling through the feed and you check this artist out, you can see where
That's
they
really
are,
cool.
what shop they're associated with.
Okay.
And there'll be, I mean, it's like Instagram, but there's a little bit of extra, and it's like an additional way to contact artists.
That's super cool.
So it's pretty cool. I just feel like I'm always so booked so far out that I don't even, I had honestly forgotten about other medias other than Instagram.
There's another link.
There's so many social medias.
But Tattoo Cloud is really good. And like if
That's a
you're
great idea.
I've never
if you're
even been on
if
it
you're a
yet.
collector, or you're like an up and coming artist, it's a really good way to like just see what's available in your area, because like some communities, all the tattooers know one another and everybody knows who everybody is and what they do. But other communities, like, it's kind of like everybody's doing their own thing. It's secret. We don't talk about scheduling, pricing. We don't share secrets.
Right.
You got to earn your licks the hard way, kid. Like,
Yeah.
so it's different from every community, but no matter where you live, you can get on Tattoo
And
Cloud.
there's different pockets of those
Mhm.
same communities
Yep.
inside of
Well, and sometimes you might
Columbus is
realize that
huge.
there's an amazing artist that's only an hour away.
Right.
You know, like how many times have you been looking at somebody's work that you've been a fan of for a while, and it's like, oh, you're only in such and such. Psh.
Right.
Like you feel like everybody's a world away when you're looking at their work through a screen, but like
Right.
you might find out that they're
Right down
an
there.
afternoon drive
Right.
away.
And a 6-hour drive just isn't even that bad. It's not that
I've
bad.
driven 6 hours for dumber reasons, let me tell you.
Touche.
Touche. Traveling to get tattooed is always stressful. Sorry, I cut somebody off.
Well, I feel that people, the average person that's going to get tattooed, I guess, goes to Google and looks at reviews for their local shops.
Honestly, Google reviews has definitely been one of the biggest ones that I've heard. I've got a response from people where they said they like seen me on Google, or they seen the shop on Google, or if it was the last shop site I was
Yeah.
at, you know, they found the shop on Google. And I started doing a lot. I haven't done it since been at Red Tree. I've just totally really forgot to put it in my spiel, but I used to tell everyone, because it was such a big thing. So many people were coming in from Google reviews that I would, you know, ask them, you know, if you thought today was awesome, like, see, give me a good review. It's the best thing you can do for me besides
Google's such
paying
a
me.
double-edged sword, though. Sometimes, man, you get the one person that was there as a guest of the client that, you know, whatever circumstance might happen, and they leave a 1-star crappy.
We had a situation like that like a week
Yeah,
or so
fuck
ago. The group message, like I'm sure we all
A
woke
random
up
person
to.
that gave Red Tree a 1-star.
Yeah.
But there's no one's client.
No, yeah,
no
the name
one-
sounded totally unfamiliar to any of us. So
Right.
like, is it somebody that like walked in and got turned away because we're by
I see you're
appointment
a
only?
private shop.
Like,
Right. Brandon didn't message me back. Someone didn't message. Jordan didn't message me back. I'm
It
going
was me.
to.
I'm sorry. I let them all down.
thanks, Ben.
My bad.
Thanks.
No,
Thanks.
you're gonna have to be patient.
I'll leave you guys a 5-star review to compensate.
Thanks, Forrest.
Thank you.
Thanks, bud.
No cap.
Nope.
It's just,
No
it's just the
1-star
way-
reviews. There's no
it's
need
just
for
weird
that.
the way that works. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Even in the company I work
My
for,
bad. My bad.
we were working at an apartment complex, and one of the tenants complained that we started work at the earliest available time, and it was like, but it was the earliest available time. That means it's okay. They said we can start now, and we started then. Why is that even a? But yeah, 1-star. Okay.
They started when they said they would.
Jerks. Sure.
They were prompt.
How dare they do what they said?
Oh,
Expected a 20-minute lag. The construction workers.
I hadn't had my coffee yet.
That's your fault, buddy.
How dare they? Oh man, when I got a new roof on my house,
Internet warriors.
I knew it was happening, but like I got a roof from the Amish. So apparently their workday starts at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, they showing up.
Yeah, I had no idea. Like I knew it was going to be in the morning. So like I had plans for like me and my dog to go chill elsewhere. So Lola wasn't like a nervous wreck because she's, you know,
They are
stranger
awake
danger.
and motivated too. let me tell you.
Yeah, like by the time we woke up to people walking on the roof. So Lolo's like,
like what the fuck?
They served
I
that
know
like a
what was
no-knock
up.
warrant, baby. They just
Yeah.
went right up. Like,
yeah, I knew what was up. It's like I woke up and I was like, oh wow, they're starting right now.
it
But,
is
like,
5:30.
It was cool. I took Lolo. We left. I think we were back by like 2 and they were done and cleaned up
Yeah.
already. I mean, my house has a tiny roof, but like that was quick.
Yeah.
That was
probably
the
perfect and hand
craziest
done
thing to
and-
wake up to, though. Like
Mhm.
in the complainant's defense.
I've been woken up by customers saying, your guys are here, and I'm like, yeah, remember when I said 6:30? I meant it. Again, I'm asleep too. I'm gonna go back to bed for like 2 hours. I'll talk to you then. Bye. Yeah. Sorry I did what I said.
I gotta say something, Ben. I don't know if everybody where you work does it, but it's really cool that as a salesman, you follow your jobs all the way through to the end. Like,
Yeah.
it's cool that you take pride in it like that. Not all salesmen do.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I'm my own entity.
You're like, I feel responsible.
Yes, I do.
This is my baby.
It's one of those things. Like I get personally invested in these things with the homeowners, with the people with the claims. It's just part of my personality.
Mhm.
So halfway through it, I'm like their best friend. We're having coffee. We're hanging out. They're like, "Oh, Ben stopped by. What's going on, buddy?" So by the end of it, like you're involved in their life and you know their dog's name and shit like that. And you're like, "All right, friends. Well, I guess I'll never see you again. And glad you like your stuff."
And then
Bye."
cousin calls you.
Yeah, so it's just a weird so when things go wrong and things aren't right, like they know your cell phone number and they know you personally, so they speak freely because you've seen them a few times and you're buds, and so they're like, you know what, fuck this is fucked up, da 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 da. And when you're waking me up to that stuff, I get emotionally involved too much.
Emotionally involved.
I wish I could just be dead inside. So yeah, it's fun.
Don't
It's
be
fun.
dead inside.
I think it'd solve a lot of problems.
It would create a hole, a black hole.
But like that's a cool spot.
It doesn't solve your problems.
Like, I'm ready for.
You need to be full of
holes,
life and full
blackness.
of love, Ben.
I try to be.
You are.
Oh.
You always are. Bam, rejuvenated.
Thanks, guys.
Rejuvenated.
Trigger angelic music.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
We're always there
You're
for
welcome.
backup too.
You know what the problem is today, Jordan? I just realized it. We had a lot of technology demons. The
never
cameras
turned in
didn't
our
want to
ball.
talk to our switcher. We had to restart our switcher a couple of times. We just realized the plasma ball isn't plugged in.
I didn't want to bring it up, but I was like sad. we
That's
didn't
been the
start
missing
with, like,
ingredient
our
the
Powerball
entire
grab.
time. I just now realized.
And there
That's
were so
why-
many
that's
other
why
things going
today was
on.
funky starting out. Lauren, did you feel funky this morning too?
Yeah, I actually felt really funky. Today
It's
marks the anniversary that two of my friends were killed in a drunk driving accident
Oh,
back,
goodness
man.
gracious.
a while back. So I always think that this day sucks. So I'm glad that you guys have kept the feelings positive.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but
Yeah.
we got the plasma ball going now.
Yo, so
Awesome.
That's
we're,
what we were missing the
These are,
entire
uh,
time.
we bring in all the
Today-
positive energy into here.
I
Yeah.
think
We leading with the arts.
all of the affiliates now need to go purchase at least a small plasma ball.
They will
Um,
bring you joy, I promise.
I'll pitch in.
They
you
will
know,
ionize
maybe
your
I-
air.
I'll go halvesies with you.
Your era needs to be ionized.
Because maybe we
Today-
could tell people balls so they
We
can
could.
join in
TCP plasma
TPC
balls.
plasma balls.
Yeah.
So we can have that moment.
Maybe
we
that
can
could be
all
like our awards and
connect our
thank yous.
plasmas.
That would be great.
All right.
That'd be really cool if we found someone to like blow us glass ones and just have like a little bit extra on
I'm
it.
sure we can
I do
find
know a guy
somebody.
in Michigan who
Yeah.
makes plasma sculptures.
Sounds
What were you
expensive.
going to say, Todd?
Today's my 10-year anniversary of starting to get tattooed.
No way.
Congratulations,
10
Todd.
10-year tattoo anniversary.
That's
Congrats.
amazing.
Wow, Todd.
Yep.
And you have a large collection to accumulate
Yes.
in 10 years.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
Amazing. That short a time. You guys,
been at it.
are way more dedicated.
I'm trying to
It
think.
blows my mind.
I was 27 when I started my first
probably-
big project, but like I got tattooed young. I was 19.
I was getting
when I was
jammers at
I got my hand done
18.1.
when I was 18,
Yeah.
and then this arm probably like 23, and then yeah, whatever. You know, I feel like once I got this arm, that's when like heavy collection really started, and then chest and everything just happened like crazy as soon as I hit like 26, 25,
Right.
26.
I went
29 on Saturday.
I went trinket tattoo. I want to tattoo my ribs.
And it's not a little rib tattoo.
And then I want to tattoo my leg. And he went, so it stopped being less, but it was still always like, I don't know, the way we worked was always like winning. This is what we're doing, knocking that out today, leave with a tattoo, leave with a new area, leave with feeling accomplished. I really enjoyed the early process of starting big work because we were always on the same page. I liked what he liked. I liked how he did it. It was very little conversation. A lot of the stuff I have is super traditional, so there wasn't a lot of interpretation. That's what I want. Let's do it. And it was a fun process.
And it was.
It was.
Are you doing anything to celebrate today, Todd?
No.
Can I like? What's the Uber Eats in your area? Don't say it on air, but like, I want to send you a milkshake or a cupcake or something celebratory. So who did your first tattoo and how large was it?
Oh, it was Joe Riley did it out at Club Tattoo, and it was only on my shoulders. It wasn't that big. Move mini.
Nice. Not that big.
Oh yeah, you posted that. You posted that today.
Yeah,
I like that. Fuck yeah.
Nice.
Compared to other ones, yeah, it's not that big.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But that's still a hefty tattoo for your first one. Like I think I got a Japanese character for my first one.
But I had gotten tattooed before, but I had stopped 15 years before that. Got tattooed first in Toronto, a small little crescent moon in that. And then I tried to do a Godzilla with King Ghidorah. And
Nice.
I stopped midway through it, never finished coloring it and that. And it always bugged me. So on a whim in Vegas, I went to Club Tattoo and got that. And fuck, I was getting another one 2 months later and haven't stopped since.
Got bit by the bug.
Yep. And then when my first really great tattoo was Randy Engelhart when I went to Ink and Iron, and that was a year later. So,
Wow.
and then I was really hooked once I had that.
The better the tattoos get,
the
the
upward
more
spiral.
on the hook you
Yeah.
get.
The upward spiral.
Yes, the upward.
So, yeah, it's been a fun ride. I mean, and probably by 2014, I had both my sleeves done, some of my leg, and
When did
started
you-
a rib.
When did you start
What?
getting into tattoo competitions?
2014.
Nice.
Well, no, 2013 I started because of Randy. I had already had Randy, so I started entering it then. And then the more I got, the more I entered. And I kept on winning, you know, I won with Randy's, then I won with Rember. So
What's your rubber piece again? It's on your leg, isn't it? Real big.
yeah,
Okay,
that's on my leg.
I remember.
Redheaded girl.
Yep.
Were you doing most of yours at conventions, Todd?
Well, the one sleeve was,
Yeah.
the other sleeve was at a studio. So yeah, I started this, which got reworked, but this sleeve I started at Hell City. That's the first convention I ever got tattooed was Hell City.
That's
Oh wow,
funny.
how many years ago was that?
2012.
Damn. Yeah.
Wow.
9 years ago.
Wow.
I remember
Yeah.
when I first, it had to have been, I think maybe 11 or 12 was probably the first years I went to Hell City, maybe 2009. I can't remember now, but I remember seeing you there for years before I actually knew you.
Really?
Yeah, you're like a Hell City staple for me.
It
And then
was weird 'cause
Detroit, I
Ron was
saw
like-
you in Detroit all the time too. Those were my
Imagine
two
him
that I
without
always
clothes
went to.
on and you'll recognize him. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, absolutely. I've never had that actual description work.
But yeah, the most of it was, I say now it's 50-50. 50% of it was at convention, 50 of it was in studios. Because Megan's
Sometimes it's
done
just
so much.
convenient logistically if you know you're both interested in being at the show already to just go ahead and be like, hey, let's plan some time together while we're both there already.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the distraction of conventions help get you through a tattoo.
Yeah.
It does. I guess that's why I like getting tattooed at conventions. I mean, now though, I'm looking for comfort, not
Yeah.
sitting in plastic chairs,
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
weird
not 8 by
fucking
8.
positions. You know, I'm past that now.
yeah, I'm not super
I
interested
feel you.
The first
And,
time I got tattooed at a convention, I think it was when Jesse Levitt did my head.
That's a fun one.
Wow.
We didn't
No
really
one's
have a
talked
lot of
about
it. Sounds like a terrible
distractions. Like
place.
he set up in such a way, like my head was right at the corner, so everybody that walked up could see what we were doing. But he like had his headphones on, and he was just so focused in what he was doing that very few people like
You probably
interrupted.
couldn't focus on anything else except for that either.
I
imagine.
mean, I had an awesome view of the pipe and drape. The red, it was red. It was red.
Yeah.
It came up to about half of my eye level.
Yeah.
It
Half
was
of
like
my vision
silky.
was
It had
red.
little squares in the pattern of the like the upholstery-ish pattern.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Um,
see.
Yeah, so I had a really
time to
nice
get
view of that
lost in
from
the-
about 7 inches away
Mhm.
all
Yep.
day long.
Mhm,
It was
mhm.
good. It was good. It was like
I
a
was
solid 5 hours staring at the
same
same.
thing.
Yeah.
Yep, same. I got tattooed first time probably 2014, 2013 at Hell City upstairs, and it was just one of those like you get to look at the same side of the bookshelf in one round because that was it.
That was it.
No.
That's one of the nice things about
too.
being tattooed like in studios where there's a lot of eye candy around.
Yeah.
Like one of the nice things about hyperspace is you've got that whole wall of windows. So you've
Yeah.
got the plants,
You
you've
got
birds,
giant
you can watch
birds that come through and
hummingbirds.
hang out.
Natural
Every kind of bug.
distractions.
I try to
sound.
keep the walls in my room just packed full of so much art because I remember sitting at the old Red Tree location where it was all just one big room and everybody's art collection was like shared and dispersed through
Get
the
a
whole room.
chance to bounce
There
around
was
the
just
room.
something everywhere to look at. So like instead of like getting fixated on one specific thing, I had all the eye candy of all the big beautiful paintings all around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I try to keep my room super full of artwork just so there's something new. And it's funny because like I'll be working on somebody who I've worked on several times and they'll be like, is that painting new? And I'll be like, no.
I haven't
No.
stared at that one intently yet.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. Like it lets me know that like there's something interesting every time you walk in.
And I love that, like, I mean, I don't know, I like decking my room out with paintings as well, but I love like that's all you have to look at. Like this painting that I got right here by Adam that's on the wall, I bought that from him because I was sitting there staring at that while we were tattooing. I was staring at it for so long. I'm like, I fucking love this painting. I like connected myself to it. I'm like, it's gonna connect me more with the moment. But like also people, they ask me, that gives the best time for someone to deeply see into a painting. You
Mhm.
know, I think to deeply see into any painting, it takes like 20 minutes of staring at a painting to really, really see it. I mean, you can look at something and be like, oh yeah, it's a praying mantis, cool. But then like deeply seeing is like really like looking like, oh, that's doesn't have to be the technical side of it, but even like something like this painting up there probably took them a long time to do. There's no way to see everything in it in reality in 5 minutes. It takes a little while. And so like my clients get time to really look at my paintings, and I've had time to look at like Guy's paintings and things, and I'll buy paintings from Guy when I'm sitting there doing that as well, getting tattooed by him.
I feel like we've connected, and you need to come with me now.
But I like getting real opinions on my art too, like because people always say things, and so I know they're saying things based on like real observation and stuff, and not just like instant. I see that. What does that mean? Why is that slimy like that? It was like, oh, like they'll ask weirder questions and stuff. Like I got a couple clients actually that that big painting I have with all the faces all over it. They'll count how many faces are into it. I had no idea, but I guess there's 39 faces in one of my paintings.
Oh, that's cool.
I like that you didn't know.
Yeah, I had no clue. I was
You
like, that's
just
cool.
painted faces till you were done painting faces. That's what it's about. I didn't
But
want 40. I
tell me
wanted
that
fucking 39. Deal with it.
as an artist, hearing people talk about your paintings though, and your work is always interesting because I always, especially my paintings, I always have one opinion on something, and like, you know, the way I seen it, the way I was doing it. I don't necessarily hold it at only having to be that, but people tell me the most off the wall things about them in like great ways.
Yep.
You know, and just like makes me like, oh, I didn't even see it like that. I had no idea. Now I totally look at my own painting totally different now based on the 3 words you just said to me.
Everyone's perception of everything is different. So to have somebody else's interpretation gives you a completely different viewpoint.
Right.
Like,
I can spend a month thinking about something one way and trying my best to see it in a different light, but sometimes it just takes another brain that's lived a whole life and knows things that they know just different than you do.
It's validation.
Just to say something, then it can totally change your opinion on something.
Concur.
I don't like that.
You know that
I enjoy that.
that red and white painting that I have at the shop of the 2 hands, the 2 like giant hands.
Yeah.
So my goal with that was to make like a cool, almost monochromatic painting, and like also do some like anatomical hand studies where I just exaggerated all the muscles. So like I just had some goals, and I wanted to do a couple hands in different poses and almost make them look like ghost hands. So those were my goals going in. But everybody that looks at that associates so many personal things to it just because it's 2 hands that aren't quite touching. So it's really cool. Like I was doing it as an anatomical study. It wasn't really like I didn't have those kind of emotions tied into it, but to hear what other people think of that painting,
It's like when
sometimes
somebody
it's like, oh
explains
wow.
song
When
lyrics
things
to
make you ask a question,
Yeah.
like if something is making what?
I'm just holding the blank.
Oh yeah, they're pointing at something.
Nope, just holding the
But
blank.
if someone is fuck, what was I gonna say?
Somebody else is explaining it to you. That's what you said.
I don't remember what I was gonna say.
It's all right. We
It's
smoked
okay.
a lot of weed today.
Weed.
A lot of materials.
Materials. I mean,
But it's cool to hear. It's always cool to hear somebody else's interpretation.
it's the same with lyrics. So if you listen to a lot of lyrics or even poetry and things like that, and then somebody tells you what the intent of that was, and you had all this other emotion wrapped up into it, it can fucking ruin it. So that's why it's kind of like, oh, well, how do you feel? No, I'm not going to tell you what my intention was. I want to know what your honest vibe was.
Right.
Late at night, we switched to like classic rock at the studio because like it's Marty's favorite, which is rad because it's like comfort food for the ears.
Yeah.
So
you know it's coming.
But like sometimes we'll be on a station that has like some Elton John, which I love Elton John, not a complaint. So, but the song Tiny Dancer, I always got to ask people because I can't make up my mind. So I always want to ask people what they think of this lyric, like what their interpretation is. Is it Jesus freaks out in the streets, like Jesus freaks gathering, protesting out in the streets? Or is it Jesus freaks out in the streets, like Jesus himself is freaking out in the streets? How do you interpret it? Jesus freaks out in the streets.
See, yeah, it definitely, if he would have phrased it in a different pattern,
I think
would
it's
believe
Jesus is getting freaky deaky out in the streets.
There would have been a breath. It'd have been Jesus freaks in the street. I think his phrasing allows me to believe that it is Jesus freaks, people that are freaking on Jesus in these streets.
I just like asking
Is Jesus going to have a
interpretations.
hard
I
time
can't
walking
make
down the
up my mind.
streets?
No, he'd blend right in. Just give him a flannel and a fucking flat bill.
Blend right in, and as soon as you found out it was Jesus, you'd get persecuted again.
Oh, I'd just be like, bro, can you make me some of that like Merlot? And like, give me some of that wine. I got a whole bottle of water. Let me taste some of that ancient goodness.
You and 3 billion other people
I'm just saying.
would all ask it at the same time.
I'm just saying.
Every question you have, 1 million other people have it for them.
Nah.
Can you imagine
I
being?
keep it simple.
Can you imagine being like that type of like
Right.
superstar? Like if Jesus came back, the type of following he'd have. Either that, or he'd be unnoticed. There's one part where I feel like
Unless
there's
he had
probably
a-
been a lot of Jesuses and they went unnoticed. But then there's another part that's like if he did come back and let's say he
What if he had a
became
really great
like
multimedia
the fucking the leader of Christianity. You know?
Jordan.
Like he just came back and everyone's following Jesus now.
Could you imagine
could you
being
imagine what-
32 years old or 36 When did he find out he was the son of God?
I don't know,
32,
32,
36.
32.
Okay. Could you imagine being a 32-year-old man and being confronted by an alien that's like, yo, you're the son of the creator? What do you do with that? Would you be like, ah, I know what happened to the last guy? Nope.
I read that book.
Nope. Nope. There are too many Pontius Pilates out there. Nope.
Not only that, I read something about all of the apostles' deaths yesterday, and it was pretty
Yeah.
freaking tragic. So yeah, anyone associated with them.
Most of the ends of all those stories suck real bad.
Yeah.
I was doing
Not
something.
only
then they
crucified, but
killed me.
upside down.
Yeah, then they killed me. And then I
Great.
talked, so they cut out my tongue.
The bigger deal you
and
are, the more
killed me.
people that hate you. The more people that love you, the more people are willing to kill you because they love you for some reason.
Okay, now let me ask that question again. Do you think it's Jesus freaks out in the streets? Because
Yeah.
like I go back and forth on it.
I thought it was
And that
Tony
song's
Danza
got so many
for the
ambiguous,
longest time. so-
lyrics in it.
Well, that's the beauty of interpretation. It's the beauty of art. It's the beauty of all that. It's what does it mean to you? Put whatever feeling you want into
And that's
it.
what I was saying about the art.
Sing your
That's
own
what I love
song,
about
man.
that. Oh yeah, the question I was gonna say, the thing I was gonna say was that it's so awesome, like when art can make people ask questions, like you were
Right.
saying about the NFT dude's
Mhm.
art and stuff. Like you
Invokes
look at
thought.
it in like, so if you have a question about it, you know that every single person is gonna have a different question based on how they see reality
Right.
or like however they think about things. So you just get, especially tattooing is so cool because we see so many different people that we always get this chance to like, you know, experiment. So if I put my art on the walls, I get this chance to see like what all these different people have to say about my
Mhm.
art. So just to have so many different opinions, it's not that I'm ever going to change anything based on anyone's opinion, but it like also allows me to like gain higher knowledge on myself and see myself as the observer in different ways, as multiple different observers,
Absolutely.
which I think is good.
Takes a
it's a good
village.
thing.
You know?
It's fun.
You guys are.
What are you guys talking about? Sorry, I was in the middle of texting Megan trying to figure out when we're gonna do our project.
Oh, you were talking
Oh.
to your tattooer? I feel like that's more worth talking about than
Our
I mean, we were
ramblings.
talking about artwork. So I guess that
Than
was
my art?
relevant.
Thanks,
yeah, we
Fawn.
were talking about artwork. It's totally relevant.
Sorry,
But-
Jordan was just rambling about his art
I
like
mean,
he cares
fuck
about
art.
it.
Yeah.
No, we were
Art's
talking about art,
dumb.
but he was just talking to his
I'm just
tattooer.
kidding.
Like it was mid conversation. So you guys getting a date set up?
Well, we're trying to figure it out. She's gonna be doing Philly, and I was like, I don't really want to do it there. You know, it's
What is out there to do?
well, it's so big,
Yeah.
noisy,
Mm-hmm.
and the booths are small there. And that was just like, I don't want to do it
Yeah.
there. So probably Golden State.
Nice.
He's got to figure it out. But yeah, it's probably.
Yeah, I'll
the
see
thing
you
we're
there,
gonna do.
Todd. I'll see you in Golden State.
You gonna be there?
Yep.
Oh,
Smoke some because I've never smoked with you.
yeah. Well, I got a place to go before we get smoking. That's the best place. I got some good dispensaries to go to out there
Sweet.
for sure.
What's Golden State? The convention coming up?
Yeah,
20
yeah,
Middle of September.
yeah.
Where is that? What's the Golden State?
That's in Pasadena. That's the one Nico and Stefano put on.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
bet you
realize they
some
put
good
it on.
smoke shops out there.
I mean, it's Nico and Carlos.
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
September 2022 is when it is.
No, coming up this year.
Oh, okay.
September.
It's like the first one that I know of this year. I mean, besides like the Villain Arts ones.
No, there's one in Indianapolis that Fawn's going to.
Yep, I'm basically just rolling along to sell stuff so Derb can run his mouth about Derb things.
Derb
Jess,
talks.
who runs the warehouse with Tony, she'll be there. So it'll be me and her selling tattoo products. If you have any questions
Nice.
about any of the stuff we carry, that'll be a great chance to come up and ask your questions. Play with, like, we'll have like samples of all of the grips that you can actually hold and feel. And a lot of times I'll bring my machines and like all of my different setups so you can actually like set it up on a similar device so you can feel it running. and like Jess isn't a tattooer, but I am. So there's just a lot of questions that I can fill you in on.
Come
Are you
ask.
gonna,
Yeah.
are you
Come
gonna
ask.
fund you enter in any contests there?
Oh, you know I will, Todd. You're going to, right?
I think so. I don't know yet. I have to. I think I'm gonna come down just for that Sunday.
I feel like I'm getting more comfortable walking around with a camera, and I feel like we did the tattoo competition in Cincinnati. Ben and I both did, and I kind of wish that like maybe next time I'll just have somebody stand next to me with the video camera so we can actually like hear the conversation between me and the people around me. Cause there's always really good conversation when you're just in line for those competitions. Yeah. You get to see other work close up. Like if you're not a judge, the best way to see good work at a show is to get in the contest, because you're going to be able to talk to the other collectors and see their stuff super close up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Talk to them about who their artist is, what it was like to get tattooed by them. You know what I mean? You're going to get a lot of firsthand information, as well as like that super close look, and everybody's ready to show it off. So there's not that awkward, like, hey, can you take your shirt off? No, everybody's in line ready to take their clothes off to show their work off. When do you ever see Fawn nude in public? Never. Is there a tattoo competition?
Boom.
Yeah.
It's better than in the restroom. It's better than in the restroom. I'll just say that. Bro.
Take it off.
Take
Show
off
it
your
to us.
shirt. Can we go to the lobby first?
It's just funny. I just have to like swallow my modesty for those moments though, and like remind myself that like, okay, a few people might be looking at me like dogs, but most people are actually looking at my artwork. And a lot of people, like, they've seen my back piece by Russ, but like to see it in person, they can like get in close and see how beautifully it's saturated, and see like, oh, that really goes all the way.
Right.
And then
it's
the other thing,
setting.
I like showing people like how one piece transitions into the next, and how like when you choose the right artists, and the artists who are familiar with one another and respect one another, they're going to work and flow into each other as if it's a collaboration from the start. Right. Like good artists want the whole collection to be an arrangement and a flow. I shouldn't say good artists, but like that's one of the things that I look for in the artists that I collect from.
It's hard too when you're at a point in your collection where all your stuff is buttoned up to each other anyway. And you're like, okay, so now we've got to make this American traditional tie-in over here to this with some sort of background and make it all fluid and work. And so it's I couldn't imagine being in the artist position to be like, okay, now I got to butt up to 1992 and make all this work.
That's actually like one of my favorite challenges when I get to like do a sleeve where I'm working into and around other people's stuff, because it makes me like, most of the time I get the blessing to go in and rework and make things look new. And I try my best not to bastardize artwork that's there, especially if it's just a matter of like, this is a good tattoo, but it's 10 years old.
Right.
I'm going to go in and I'm going to pump those colors up, but I'm going to use the same colors that I think that artist used. And I'm going to basically, I guess what I'm getting at is when I have the chance to like button up a collection, it's like I get to wear these other artists' hats for the day. And I get to like think like, how did they do this and why? And I get to like look at it firsthand and basically like pick up the ball and run with it. You know what I mean? Like the goal is the same, a beautiful sleeve or a beautiful torso or a beautiful leg or, whatever it is. We all have the same goal. We want this collection to be awesome. We want all these tattoos to look phenomenal. Like we all have that same goal. So instead of like being competitive about it, or like, I like to make it look like you can't tell where my work stops and starts. I want it to be just one artist's work flows into the other. And I think that's a really important thing. If you're gonna go down the rabbit hole of collecting a bodysuit, is keeping that in mind. How do these artists flow off of one another? Because there are some artists that make tattoos that literally look like stickers. They're intended to look like they're just stuck there. And now we've even got like the peeled up edges and stuff like Flip Shades does, where it looks like it's not only a sticker, but it's a sticker that's peeling off.
It's a sticker. When I first started getting tattooed, I had no intention of being this heavily tattooed. It was one of those, the more I got immersed and the more I enjoyed the culture and the more I hung out at the shop, the more I got tattooed, and then it was like, oh, well, let's just let's just keep going, I guess. And then you reach a point where it's like blank skin looks weird. And you're like, we should fill that in. It's kind of awkward. So
Just enough.
Just enough.
Just enough.
I'm getting there.
Font scraping
I got to get my
material
next
off the
session
table.
in. I got a
Well,
session
guys, I got-
scheduled with Adam. You out of here, Todd?
You got it, Rod?
Yeah, I got a bug out here. My dogs are bugging me to go do something with them. So
Well, thanks for
Right.
joining us.
Good to see you, buddy.
Happy 10
yeah,
years.
nice seeing you
Yeah,
guys.
happy 10 years,
Thank
brother.
you.
Peace,
See
dude.
ya.
ya.
Take care, man.
See you soon.
Peace.
Oh goodness. Yeah, I especially when we did like my arms, when I first started doing my one arm, it was like I was going to do a half sleeve, and that was the intention. And my ex-wife looked me dead in the face and she was like, do you really think you're going to stop
And you were like,
halfway through? And I was
challenge accepted.
like, if you I don't want to say allowed, that wasn't the talk, but if it's like, if you're cool, I'm cool. Like I'll blast them up. I was a chef at the time. I didn't give a shit. So we ran it. then the whole concept changed. It's like, yeah, just go ahead and fill in the rest of that. And he was like, all right, cool. Point to things you like.
And it began.
But I already had my whole leg done at that point, but the leg was designed like cohesively. Like it was supposed to be one big tattoo.
Yeah.
So when we started on my arms, it was smaller.
What were the conversations like for you when you were in Cincinnati?
What do you mean?
Did you talk to the guys around you at all while you were in line, or did you listen to them talking to each other? I know it was your first competition, so you were a little like, I don't want to say out of your element, but like,
Yeah, more
you're used to
of,
holding the camera.
yeah. I was trying to soak in just being in the process because I'd never done anything like that. I'd only seen it from one point of view, for the cheesiest pun impossible. So to go through the process and have somebody else look at your stuff and be like, meh, like, not that I've never done it for anybody else. I've always gotten tattoos for me. I started getting my tattoos where nobody else could see them first, like to break that sleeve line. I remember I left with a giant forearm tattoo, like, well, you're in it now.
Right.
So there was definitely like a crossing the line moment for me, I guess. So to never have that full on, we're gonna, it was, I don't know, different to talk to people that have the mindset of, nope, we're blocking it up, we're filling area to area, we're tying this guy's work with this guy's work, that have put that kind of reference and time. And I just went to a cool shop and hung out a bunch. So to see the work and dedication that you guys have put into these collections, it blows me away, that with the connectivity of how the market has changed, and the connectivity of the Instagram and the Facebook world, of where you can actually see other people's work. When I started getting tattooed, you drove to the shop and asked for the fucking pictures in the binder on the front desk. Like, Facebook was new, you know what I mean? So it was like, I was very fortunate to walk into somewhere where I'd already dug what they did, because my tattoo journey might have stopped after one, if not, and I'm very fortunate to be in the position where I am now of accumulating the people around me that I have. Like I'm very, very fortunate as just a collector to be invited to some of these things. Just like today, just like Hell City, just like being involved in the Red Tree things that I am. It's a blessing just to be in that kind of community, to not really be involved, if that makes sense. Like
Without collectors, there would not be tattooers.
For sure, but it's very, 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 very humbling. So it's a cool experience for me. It's been kind of a roller coaster that was never intended. That's kind of shaped a lot of shit for me.
Yeah.
right in the middle of the mix.
Yeah. I'm very, very, very fortunate to have fallen into the circle of people that I did. Even as their careers progressed, they progressed in with the right crowd, and they progressed in with the right mindset of people. It's always been nice to be immersed in that.
Yeah, I feel the same way in a lot of different ways.
Last week we had Nathan on?
Yeah,
days are all running
That
together.
was last week.
It was cool to hear you and Nathan go through like the gauntlet of amazing artists that were at Body Language.
There's a
round
million.
about the same amount of time.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
so much talent budded and blossomed. And, you know, it was probably partially the shop, but you know how like with musicians, there's always magic chemistry where musicians either blossom together or they just do their own thing.
Yep.
It seems like there were a whole bunch of artists who were like dedicated, and then they all did, like I was talking about earlier, they started carving out their own lane where
Yeah.
each one of them was doing something so different from all the other artists in the studio and all the other artists in the city, and they were evolving in different directions, that they started like pushing their own niches and becoming known.
Yep.
And like honing their skill and like developing the artist that they're known as now. And we were talking about Rich Cook and Kevin Stress, Nathan Marty, obviously. Who else were you guys talking about last
David
week?
Boggins, Denny Michaels.
One that I had fun watching was with Empire Inks. My buddy Trent Velo had mentioned David Vega. So when I first met him in Texas, he had like 1,000 followers. He's still very, very humble, and watching him grow. And I mean, now he's definitely much bigger, but that's been really fun too.
Yeah, I love watching that growth. If anybody that's excited to do what they do, it's pretty cool.
Become like a cheerleader of the artists that you follow, and as they grow and their following grows and like their bag of tricks grow, it's cool.
Again, as a collector, to be able to walk into their grand opening party like, hey, I know everybody here.
Good job.
Hi.
Good job, guys.
You guys are doing the damn thing. It's cool. It's cool. Very proud of them all. Very proud of them all.
I don't know. Sounds like
that Hollow Earth like grand opening party happens sometime soon. I heard you guys talking about it last week. I'll try to come out for it. That'd be sweet.
Did you hear us nudging Nathan about the Ohio?
I know. I was just gonna
show?
say we just gotta keep bringing it up.
As long as we remind him that it's gonna be worthwhile.
We got to make that happen. Can't let that die out with COVID too. That was always a good time.
From what I've heard is they need help. So
They definitely need help, so that might help them.
Yeah,
with
they just
getting
need
help.
I
They need
feel
an
like he's
analytical
down if he's
mind.
got a manager to make it
they
happen.
need an analytical mind to help sort it all out.
Yep.
If you have availability and time to help with the Ohio project. No, I'm just kidding.
Send your
Email
resume
Nathan
too.
Marty
Send your
at nathanmarty.com. Because all of his stuff is his name. He's a smart marketing person.
Now that I don't have my own shop, everything's my name. Before
Right.
everything was the shop name.
Yeah.
As it should be.
I try to do
You're
everything
promoting
my name,
everybody,
too.
not just yourself.
Right. Yeah. But now it's me, and like I'm under Red Tree. And makes it easy. And Jules does all of our Google marketing. And
Thanks, Jules.
Thanks, Jules.
so nice to have somebody do that. So
to be in charge.
okay, tattooers, if you're listening, we've mentioned like the marketing and stuff that Jules helps with a little bit. Basically, take the time to go to Google and set your profile up so that when people search you, when they just Google like fawnbaker.com or just Fawn Baker, it'll take you to the Red Tree page. It'll take you to my page. But
It's called search engine optimization.
yep,
Take 5 minutes.
5 minutes to optimize that. And because
Yep.
we get so much traffic from Google, that's just the most used search engine. And that, you know, if you go in and optimize it, you can choose for that search to take you to the tattoo cloud that we talked about. You can set it up to take you to Instagram. You can set it up to take you to like your own personal webpage. So like if you optimize it, you can start funneling how people contact you, and it becomes very direct and much more hands off,
Right.
you know?
Yep. That's why I thank Jules, because I did not have mine set up before that.
Yep,
I
Jules
had
does it for all
mine
of
as
us.
like the studio that I was in before this place.
Anything that can make you money passively,
Yeah. And
it's
like,
worth investing your time into that one time.
it's literally something like if you smoke, you can roll up a blunt or a joint or pack up a bowl or bong rip. And by the time that bong rip or that bowl is gone, you will have completed the task of optimizing your Google profile. So there are some things where it's like, just take a
Just
moment and do it.
Just do it. And if you don't want to do it, hire a manager, even if it's just to set it all up. Hire someone that assists in those services.
Oh,
They're very
yeah.
easy to search and find. There's a jabillion of them.
Yeah, if you
I
feel
don't want to be
overwhelmed,
biased and recommend my wife, but you know,
if you
call
feel-
someone to
you
help.
But his
feel
wife does
overwhelmed.
these things.
I know that Gabe is offering an RIT business course, and I've watched
Beautiful.
some of it. He's going to be doing webinars weekly, I believe. He's got a really great set of information in terms of like Google marketing versus social media and like where to put your time.
Yep.
Definitely Google is something that's always there, whereas social media is, it's transient, it's always changing.
Yep.
Yes.
One of the things that I've noticed with my social media interactions is things are shifting. Like I almost never get interactions on Facebook anymore. It's almost all Instagram for me. However,
Yeah,
when I was
same.
working in Michigan, like my Michigan clients more often than not reach out through Facebook. So, and I think that's just it's a smaller community and people are just more active on their Facebook. I'm not sure. I don't really know what the difference is, but that's one of those things that like
search engines,
different areas, it's different what social media platform is going to be the biggest. So unless you spend the time to be on all of them, which is so time consuming and addictive, just keep your optimized like Google profile so those contacts funnel where you want them to go.
Yep.
That's right.
SEO.
That's good.
SEO. Yes,
SEO.
that's it.
Search engine
That's-
optimization.
That's some good.
And if you set
Good
up your own
knowledge right there.
web page, which is actually a lot easier than some people think it is.
They will walk you through it.
Yeah, it's really easy.
Put picture here. Okay. Put
What?
info here.
There's already a template?
Okay.
Oh, and I just changed that to my picture? Oh. Do you guys remember MySpace?
Yeah.
Do you remember how we were like
Learning coding
wizards?
then and nobody
We were
even knew
coding wizards and didn't even have any idea.
it. Man. If they only knew what we went through.
Yeah, I never got too deep into MySpace, but I did
You were
scratch the surface.
6.
I was pretty young. I wasn't 6. I was young.
I was making an arbitrary number implying you were young. Sorry if I disrespect.
He's like, I really was 6. Thanks, Ben.
Jerk.
Calling me out.
I'm old. I know it. It's okay.
How old are you?
38.
38.
Approaching them golden years. AARP cards, golden Buckeye. I think I'm just gonna get me a walker and a cane. It'd be a good
I
time.
don't think you're there yet.
Getting close.
I don't think you're there yet.
I mean,
You're there when you
Top of it.
feel like you're there.
I was like 17 years ago.
You're as good as you feel. As good as you
I've
feel,
been
Ben.
broken for a long time.
Just kidding. Wish that was the case.
I keep looking over your shoulder. Do you see that bio paradise there?
I was wondering, are you growing the curl?
The curl?
The curl?
So I don't got any curl in there yet, but that is live rock. Just sitting in there, slow roasting, getting ready for some fish. I'm gonna have some fish in there for probably quite a few months before I start coralling it. So some fish, snails.
Build that environment.
Yeah, I might get some anemones and stuff, but I would just want, yeah, I'm gonna take it slow. The art
You
of
got
patience.
a lot of nice little pockets in there for anemones.
Thank you. I can't wait to get corals in there, but I also want to get everything super stable because my first tank and corals are very expensive.
Yeah,
Very, very expensive. And I'm worried about having thousands of dollars into this thing and having something go wrong.
bro. I had a 55-gallon freshwater when everything died because one thing went wrong, and I was real sad. It was like fish funeral after fish funeral after fish funeral. And like it ruined me. Like I drained that fucking thing and never went back to owning things that swim.
You're like,
So I was like, I can kill the fish for no reason.
yeah,
It was
I
a
had
lot.
I had a buddy. He's actually a fellow tattooer that messaged me,
It was a lot.
and that said he had a 150-gallon saltwater tank, and he said he killed the entire thing one night.
I couldn't do it.
What do you do?
150 gallons. Just to put in perspective, I mean that's at least. I mean, that's like at least $1,000 worth of live rock,
Oh,
probably
I mean-
alone in there. Live rock, no coral, no fish,
Yeah.
no nothing.
Time invested in creating that environment.
And then probably $10,000 at the base minimum of probably life in there.
You can have like a heater
it get
go
cold?
out. Yeah, you can have like a
I didn't
heater
ask
go
him-
out.
I didn't ask
or
him the
a
problem.
light sequence not go right, and
Yep.
you not notice it, and it just
We had a little saltwater
Heater-
tank, and
Heater
that's
will
what
be a
happened.
big
The
one.
heater went out.
Ammonia levels will be a big one.
Mhm.
If something's dead and you don't know about it, and it's
Mhm.
just like producing a ton of like ammonia in the corner of the tank.
Yep.
I was looking at my tank this morning while I was talking to you guys, and I was actually like grooming some of the plants on it. So I have the smallest tank I've ever had, and it's a 3.5 gallon little like all-in-one desktop tank. And I have it's fully planted, and I've got a couple of like water lettuce that are floating, so there's like heavy roots for the betta to swim around and stuff. I feel like I enjoy this tank as much as I enjoyed my big goldfish tank. I used
Right.
to have a 75 gallon goldfish tank in my studio where I had like a whole bunch of fancy fantails and some koi. And I love just like chilling on the couch after a long day and like watching that and just unwinding. It was really nice. I had a couch in my waiting room.
I'm so excited to
kick
have some
back
like
on.
clownfish in here. Those little guys.
I wish I could still have a fish tank in my studio. It would be so
It
nice.
sucks. And how you
Nope.
can't.
The heartbreak was too much. Heartbreak was too
Yeah,
much.
but my little 3-gallon guy, this thing's so easy to take care of. I take water out of it to water my plants, so I'm constantly adding new water to it. I feel like it's at a super good balance right
That
now.
aquaponics.
It's at a super good balance, but I just got to trim like the old leaves off of my water lettuce. That's it. That's about it. Sometimes I got to like take the plants out and trim the roots because they'll take over if I let them. But it's easy now that it's balanced and it's doing its thing. Like my beta knows what's up. He knows when I'm feeding him. He knows when like
I've
I'm
always
about to
wanted to
shut the
train a
lights off.
goldfish.
Train a goldfish.
You can train them to like swim through tunnels and like do mazes.
I've never trained one to that extent, but we definitely had goldfish that like actually liked to interact and like
I want enough time on my hands to be able to train a goldfish and be financially stable. How about that?
What about
Sometimes
if you
goal for
just,
It's a great goal. I love it.
what about if
That's how you
this-
know
if
you've achieved.
what about
you
if
know,
the safety meetings
almost final
just turned
form.
into goldfish training time?
Say that again, please.
What if safety meetings just turned into goldfish training time?
We'd have a lot of high fish.
Goldfish. That would be an interesting development.
This sounds like a
So I was talking to a buddy
Vastly
of mine one
expensive
time, one of my buddies
We
from
train
Michigan.
goldfishes while we're not tattooing.
His name's LB. He has this beautiful cichlid tank, beautifully maintained. And I was like, you ever get your fish high? He's like, no. And like, I was just being
blow bubbles
silly.
in there.
I was just being silly. And next thing we know, he goes over and he's messing with him. I'm like, what's he doing? Before I know it, he's got the tube off of the aerator and he's
No way.
so
Our
he's
fish
blowing smoke bubbles
cannabinoidal.
in there.
Can they receive THC?
I don't know, but just
might
the
not have
fact
used
that
the right
he
word,
tried
don't
to
judge
share
me.
with the fish was just, it just touched my soul. I was
Aw.
totally kidding, but he was like, we should try it.
You've been
Let's
here
see what
watching this whole
happens."
time. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I left you out for like 3 years. Here's some
Yep.
sweetheart. I can't say I've ever tried to get a fish high.
Yeah,
He
I will
definitely
never
got
try to
his
get my
cichlid
fish
high.
high, but
I unintentionally got my dog high one time, and now he just leaves the room when we smoke. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice.
Eon, I like it when he's high. He's always disliked weed, but when he's a lot more chill and just falls asleep, it's
Hey,
cool.
My
But
dude
he
took a
doesn't like
nap.
smoke. He doesn't
Yeah.
like smoke. He'll just try to get away from smoke. But he spent his life like in the same rooms that were all smoked out.
Right.
My cat really loves getting high. Yeah, he usually approaches me. I think he's upstairs with Emily right now. But
I had a dog that if she heard the bong, she'd come running and she'd sit right next to you.
Aw.
And like was like, hey, what are you doing? But Oz definitely isn't. My dog now isn't like that at all. He passed out one day next to me while I was smoking. And I think he woke up a little more intoxicated than he intended to be. And he has never liked it since then. I feel bad. I didn't mean to poison him. It wasn't an intention. I wasn't like blowing shotguns in his face. But vis-a-vis by sitting next to me for like a couple hours while I smoked too much weed, he got really high. I felt horrible. It's like when your dog accidentally eats an edible. That's never happened at my house, but I've heard that story a lot. And they're like,
I give my dog
"Man,
edibles, like deliberately.
That's different.
I don't
You
overdose
intend to
her
do
though.
that.
It's just
Right.
like the
It's a-
tiniest little
it's a
bit.
dose,
When she
not
was a
she ate my
puppy,
Decachew.
yeah, when she was a puppy, I used to, I've got friends in Michigan who are caretakers and stuff. So it was really easy to get like the weed stocks for
Right.
her. So as a
Little
puppy, she
munchy
teethed
cheeks.
on them.
Little
Yeah.
munchy
So
cheeks.
she's been around it. She's about it.
Yeah. Just
I've
different
given her
mindset.
I give her CBD stuff when she's like anxious and won't calm down. But I also I think it's more effective just to give her a tiny little piece of like, I'll
Right.
get the edible cereal bars from our buddy, and we're like, let's say one cereal bar is like 4 or 5 doses.
For her.
So I'll give her like, I'll take my portion and I'll just break off a corner of my portion, and she
Right.
gets just like the littlest corner, and then she just chills next to me the rest of the night, like content, not her tail wagging intently, like beating me like usual, but it's just this little
baby wag.
yeah, just the very tip of it is just like
Vibing.
yeah, like you can tell she's happy, but she's like chilling. She's not panting. Because what happens is she gets like overly happy and then she pants really loud, and it's hard to like have a conversation or like hang out or do anything because she's like happy.
I have a bulldog. You don't have to explain this to me. I get it. Like I get it. What they do with their
Do you have a
face.
dog, Forrest?
Nah, I don't have any pets.
No pets?
Lucky fucker.
No wonder it's been so quiet over there.
I have a no replacing the cat policies right now.
When they go, they go.
Yeah, I think we're gonna phase cats out of our life. They're great, but like no matter what, they're just, they be inside.
Since I've gotten
in a
Mr.
box,
Fixed,
it's like
he
a
is
lot.
starting to turn into such a good boy. And he's
Right.
starting to cuddle a little bit instead of just be a terror all night. Is Drowsy starting to come out of the being a terror all night phase?
Yeah, he's got to get his balls cut off still, but
My cats are like, you're in
He
that
is coming-
room.
he is
I'm
coming-
leaving.
he's not a terror at night. He's energetic.
My cats aren't very social. I mean, it's not that we don't like them. It's not that we don't pet them, but like they're not the sit on your lap, hang out, chill, and watch a movie kind of cats. And to just deal with feces in my home
To be fair,
instead of
They-
something to
they
cuddle
have-
with,
they
there's
have
generally
been-
a balance.
they have been chilling in the basement lately a lot when
Yeah.
we smoke.
Yeah, still,
But
no.
it's been a real like
MJ's
I've been
14.
I've been coming over to your
Just
house for a
happened.
long time, and just over the last few months, they're just starting to be like, all right, let me check you out.
I guess
I
I'll allow
smell
you to
other
touch
animals on
me.
you. I smell cats.
They're pretty pompous. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh no.
I
They're
love
just
them.
old. They're just old and set in their
No,
ways.
I love them. I don't hate them in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, it's. I think we're gonna phase out kitties.
Until you find another one.
Nope.
That's what's gonna
If you
happen.
don't look, you don't find.
And it's always the one. It's always the one that puts their foot down. That's what's gonna happen. You're not gonna be looking. It's
That's how we
just
got
gonna like
Miska.
fall in your lap. That's how it happens. Like Mister, I was gonna get another gray cat, and that fell through 2 times. Then the storm happened. Mister was in my backyard, fenced in backyard,
Love
underneath
me.
my church pew, and Lolo found him, and they're best friends now. Like there's this new thing that he does when they get to playing and they're like roughhousing so much that like Lolo's panting and catching her breath. He starts panting like a dog also.
I want to be a puppy.
Yeah, like I think he's got an identity crisis.
Do you want to be a puppy?
Yeah, but he's like scared of everything.
Aw.
So yeah, we got an identity crisis going on with him. That's all
All
right.
right. He'll settle into his own skin at some point. We all do.
I just got him fixed, and I think he's definitely chilling out, and I think he is much more tolerant of me. Like he'll cuddle and actually like acknowledge me sometimes. He's funny.
Yeah.
But it's Lolo's dog. As long as he keeps Lolo happy and busy and entertained, like you are awesome. You keep her exercised.
Do
you
your
keep
job.
her, yeah, like you are Lolo's baby. That's what I call him all the time. It's Lolo's baby.
That's too much.
So,
Your pets
so
are
I've got a
pets.
cat, I've got a dog, and my dog has a cat.
Yeah, your pet's got pets. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's how it is.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I think that's how I'm going to talk about him from now on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I've got a cat and a dog, and my dog
dog's
has a
got
cat.
I know it's weird.
Oh man, well I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of toasted.
You're ripped?
I'm a little high.
So if I rolled another blunt, you'd pass on it?
I might.
Really?
I might. I don't think I smoke anymore.
Sounds
Hold
like a
on.
challenge.
I'm in as close as I can get. I'm gonna zoom in on his face a little more.
There just reaches a point where you just mellow off, and smoking's arbitrary. It's just hard to be in there. Once I'm past like blunt 3, it's pretty much all the same after that.
Yeah, it's just like the communal
And then I get
conversation
sleepy.
flow.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, but if you
Yeah,
even
I
if you
got
get
I got a
sleepy
long day after
and then
this.
you motivate, the day's gonna be great. You might just be chill.
The
and
day
gonna
it's
be
it's
good.
creeping on 3. My day's almost over.
What do you
What are
mean?
you talking about?
My day has only just begun.
I've only just begun.
To
We've been
live.
awful musical this episode.
Sorry, I can't help it.
Oh man.
You gonna take a power nap before work?
Before work?
Take that little siesta.
No, I'm taking off for
Oh, that's right. You're traveling.
yeah, no, we're going to
Bro, kick a passenger seat for a minute.
I mean,
Okay.
That'll be good.
You got any conventions coming up for us? Are you gonna hit any?
Talk to us.
No, I didn't really know about any coming up this year until you guys mentioned.
Yeah, they're starting to pop up.
I think they were all like 2022. So if Golden State's in September, that sounds pretty cool. I might check that out. Because like I said, my appointments only run till like July right now. So
I feel like the indie show is gonna be pretty good. What days is it?
like what kind of show is it? Just like is it for like the first time doing it, or like one that's gone on before, or what?
Googling, please hold.
I don't know. I'm just looking at my schedule to see the dates. It is the 18th through the 20th, so Father's Day weekend.
I know Jay, I think, is from Indiana. He might be hitting that up. I'm not sure if he knows about it either. Like with the tie suit, old Jay Grime.
Oh yeah.
Let's ask him.
Let's see. It is the Indie Tattoo Expo. Embassy Suites, 6089 Clarks Creek Road, Plainfield, Indiana. 46168.
I'll have to give him a follow. See if
Yep. Indie Tattoo Expo.
what are the
They've
dates
got an Instagram page as well. It's at Indie Tattoo Expo.
Would you say the dates were again?
18th through the 20th.
Of what?
June. This
Oh,
month. Later this month.
cool.
Now.
Yep. So I'll be there. And I really honestly I don't even know if Derb's gonna be tattooing or not. We really might only be there like just talking. I know he's probably prepared to be talking to people about Hell City left and right. So I think it'll be me and Jess holding down the fort most of the time.
Yeah.
But if you listen to us, if you follow us, it'll be a good chance to stop up and say hey. I'll probably have at least one of the cameras with me set up to like just kind of talk to people and walk around. And I'm trying to get as much convention footage as the scene starts growing. So, keep ourselves informed, keep everybody else informed. But
Are you guys gonna do like podcasts on the road and stuff like that with like collectors after they get tattooed?
absolutely. I just got my new laptop yesterday. So now we can plug everything in and make it mobile. Super powerful, super lightweight little machine. And it's got multiple screens, which is kind of cool. So we can easily do a lot of the things that we do here in the mothership
That's
on the road.
exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Road ship.
Yep. Vandango.
Fandango.
The Vandango Studio.
That was a theme song.
Yeah, that's
I'm a
exciting.
big
I'm happy.
fan.
Mobile.
All
Going
right.
mobile.
Conventions you know for sure you're going to? Like that one's pretty soon. Are there
There's the indie one. I don't know. I kind of gotta talk to Derb and see like what the list is that he's doing. I kind of like just following him around and learning from him when shows happen. Like I creepily am just like his shadow sometimes.
Yeah.
So when people don't know me, I know they're like, who is this creep?
Hi, I'm fine.
It's like I'm just listening, just to listen. That's all. Just listening
How do you think I
to.
feel? I don't know
just to
any of these
listen.
people. It's like,
But no, I deliberately try to follow Derb to as many shows as I can to like help with the TrueTube stuff and like answer questions and talk to people. But also just because it's such a good learning opportunity,
That's
it's
information.
really cool to see the way that he interacts with people. And then, because of Derb, I have like a direct in with like the upper echelon of the tattoo community. So it's kind of like I get to just observe and I get to learn and it gives me like just the opportunity to meet and learn from all these different people that I look up to and admire. So basically I like to get Derb's travel plans and then I'll figure out what shows I'm going to after that.
Fair.
So if you follow Derb, he's a social media maniac.
sure.
If
Right.
he'll be at a show, there's a good chance I'll probably be there too.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here for a lot of them. Not this next one. I'll be missing the indie one, but I'll be on the game after that.
Yeah, but I think it'll be a good opportunity for me to just like take the camera now. Like it's a whole extra motivation to go to as many shows as possible, just to literally talk to tattooers and collectors that have traveled and, kind of start giving everybody a platform to share not only their work, but like the work that goes into the work, you know,
Right.
and the stories behind it.
And that's what
the-
I'm
how
excited for
proud
with,
we
with
are of it.
conventions. Is
Yeah.
that
That's
I'm
really
excited.
all.
Sorry.
That was so direct, like for that.
Oh man. Yeah. So
Good
we're
times.
excited to talk to tattoo collectors, and I
It's
don't
nice to
know.
have a goal while you're at a convention as well. Sometimes if you don't have an appointment or if you don't have, you always want to go, but you kind of feel awkward if you don't have a goal for being there. If you're not there to compete, if you're not there to,
Mhm.
you're just kind of looking around.
But
So
it's
sometimes to go and be like, I can talk to people and collect.
Mhm.
Let's stand behind the camera. Let's do something. It's nice.
I don't know. Gives me a chance to like pick people's brains.
Different demographic, different set of
Mhm.
people, different set of collectors, different set of artists.
All of the different,
Yeah.
all the flavor,
Give it a
Mhm.
flavor.
all the flavors. I think it's gonna end up being like one of my long-term goals is to actually have like a booth or a table at different shows, and you know, you can come up openly and freely and share your stories with us, or we can just come and like intrude on your session and
I
like,
say
how's
a
it like
healthy
out there in the
mixture of
field?
You could set up a camera and a tripod and make it like tattoo confessions,
Ooh, that's actually a really
tattoo
good idea.
collecting, whatever. Pick your topic of the
Tattoo
day.
collecting confessional.
Now, today we're talking about the worst experience ever, or best, or funniest tattoo.
This tattoo this guy's working on is really bad right now.
Stop.
Let's see how this client feels.
I meant like in the booth, you come to talk about previous, not live action things. But yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Like what do they call them? Like on reality shows, they'll have like the blue room or the green room where people just sit and it's like just a random room with a camera. It's like their video journal diary.
This is the one place you're allowed to speak freely.
I also look forward to doing stuff like that. All the equipment that we have will allow us to stream live like the whole time. So we can just stay live. And, if you're watching, you have questions, it'd be like if you wanted to go to this show but couldn't, well, we're probably going to be up front watching the stage with a camera and sharing what's going on. So,
Yeah, good chance to interact.
So
Yeah.
tune in for more.
Tune in for more.
yeah, it's just going to grow. I think the stuff that we do on the road is going to be really fun. As things are getting easier to travel now, I want to start just popping up in different shops, just doing remote shows, just to do remote shows, just so you can feel what it's like. And, every studio's got a little bit of a different vibe, different artwork, different artists.
Can we set up a street shop tour
Absolutely.
and just like go and just see like this is this place? Check it out. Here's the inside. Here's the artist. Here's what they're doing. This week we're focusing on these people.
I kind of want to go to my buddy Dustin's shop up in Marion. He just opened a new shop, and he's a traditional artist, but he's excellent. And it's a walk-in style studio, but he's set it up all old school street style.
Love
And it's
it.
beautiful.
Love
He's
it.
got
I
original
love street
flash
shops.
everywhere. But I'd love to just like pop in and do a show from his location.
We can do it like Driver's Diners and Dashes.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say all the right words because of legalese. No, I'm just kidding. But that'd be cool. I'd be in.
We got to come up with a catchy name for our road shows. That could even be like a segment where we could just do like a half
Tattoo
hour on the
road show.
road every time. Yeah. I mean, we run our mouth for 3 hours. That could give us like a half hour to go like refill our coffee, take a little time.
And at this point, we're going to take a break right in the middle.
We're going to
Watch
share with you
this.
Go.
our road trip this week.
Been the plan.
We
from
can
the
do it like
beginning.
science theater style where we can just commentate over it. Like, oh, this is really cool.
You know what? We can do that with the switcher. We can have picture in picture, and then if we
Hold on,
combine
guys.
it with Zoom, it'll be like picture in
we
picture.
gotta
in
pause
picture.
and explain what the camera missed here for a second.
Oh,
All right. Well, we're
yeah.
pushing it to almost 3:00. Is there anything we need to talk about, Lauren? Did we lose Lauren?
No, Lauren.
Lauren's like, shit.
That's all right.
Well, Forrest, do you want to share your contact information if people want to see your collection and keep up with what you're up to?
Yeah, sure. My ad is just not Forrest G. I'm an admin for Bio Boys. It's just like me and some of my tattoo homies just sharing tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
the whole time. Russ Abbott recently did my side piece. He's at Ink and Dagger down in Atlanta, and he runs Tattoo Smart. So check all that awesome stuff out. That's pretty much it for me. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Awesome.
Hell
Thanks
yeah,
for joining
well,
us
thanks for
again,
coming on.
Forrest.
Good to get to talk to you.
Cool. Talk to you soon, man.
Yeah, you too.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you next week.
Yep. You know where to find us. Tattoo collecting.
Tattoocollecting.com.
Yep. Well, thank you guys. Goodbye.
Later.